Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. Scotland Yard say the woman, who has not been named, has been bailed until early February pending further inquiries. Police searched 2 addresses in Bedfordshire, including one in Kempston. Council leaders want to scrap the ban on parents taking their children on holiday during term time. The number of school days lost to term time holidays has dropped to a record low after fines were introduced last year. This week, a Bedfordshire head teacher cancelled her term time holiday after criticism from parents at Elstow School. Councillor David Simmons from the Local Government Association says it should be down to head teachers to take a common sense approach.
Our residents are telling us they'd like to see a situation where head teachers had a bit more discretion. So when you've got mums and dads who are maybe being called up to serve in the armed forces, who are being called into work because of national emergencies like Ebola screening, that they've got the flexibility to say if family holiday plans need to change in that kind of exceptional situation, they can do that without risking being slammed with a big fine.
The government says it will challenge a decision by the European Union to demand the UK pays an extra £1.7 billion towards the EU's budget. Contributions over the past 4 years are being adjusted to take into account economic growth. A pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local centre for older people. Joy Ashburn was barred from Douglas Tilby House after receiving a letter from Age UK Hertfordshire. More from Ewan Duncan.
Joy campaigned for improvements at the centre in Welwyn Garden City after it stopped providing fresh lunches on site and opted for Meals on Wheels instead. She says she was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up. The chief executive of Age UK Hertfordshire, which runs the site, confirmed it's asked Joy Ashburn not to attend the centre.
In sport, in last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat the Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. The weather, some rain this morning, which will be heavy at times, but clearing this afternoon. A maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
From 9.
The JVS Show.
With the big phone in, the hottest topic of the day, and your consumer problems. From 12.
Nick Coffer.
And I'm out of the studio in Barton Le Clay as our big tour of beds, hearts and bucks continues.
From 3.
Roberto Perroni.
I'm here with a roundup of the day's news, the latest travel and your stories.
From 7.
Mark Forrest.
I'll bring you the best bits from everything that's been happening on BBC Local Radio.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, get in there! Yeah. Woo, 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 woo. And that was the fun part of the show this morning. Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. These chances are here. Kelly Betts.
Hello.
Turning on the television. Catherine Boyle.
Hello.
Eyes glued to the television. Guys.
It was Countdown.
Was Susie Dent on there?
Do you know, we just saw the words.
OK, I don't know.
We just saw the letters.
OK, right. Susie Dent is now, of course, my friend.
No, she's not.
She is my friend.
Oh, it's my mic line.
Is she a friend of the show?
No, not of the show, friend of me. If you want to see me on television with Susie Dent,
Can we make her friend of the show?
November the 5th.
No, can we make her friend of the show?
November the 5th. No, right, OK, you go. If you want to see me on television with Susie Dent, it's November the 5th.
Remember.
The 5th of November. Gunpowder, treason and plot. What's the rest of the rhyme?
Can we make her a friend of the show?
OK. Lots coming up on the show this morning. Benefits review after Stevenage's man's death. Pensioner banned for bad behaviour. And with the news that Enid Blyton's Faraway Tree is being turned into a film. Justin Dealey asks the question on everyone's lips. What's wrong with Fanny? Well, it was nice winning awards when we did. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Say that on air, Kelly.
The podcast is awesome this week. Proper jokes.
Perfect, that'll do for me. What time can kids get it?
Well, if we get nothing from today, they can get it for about 10.
Beautiful.
There's no more Fanny. There's no more Fanny.
You can never know what it's like. Your blood like winter freezes just like ice. And there's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. standing, you just fade away. Don't you know I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Once I never could have hoped to win. You're starting down the road and leaving me again. The threats you made were meant to cut me down. And if our love was just a circus, you'd be a clown by now. No, I'm still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still standing, better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing.
I am genetically programmed to hate that song, yet I love that song.
Yeah.
I love that song.
I like that one, and I like the other one. Another person
Who does again? I tell you what, can we have, Kelly? I like the other one. Well, did he do a song, I Want to Kiss the Bride?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that one.
Can we have I Want to Kiss the Bride by Elton John, please? We'll have that. Elton John morning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Elton John morning. Sir Elton, we salute thee and all of the good work you've done. Not the rubbish work you've done, like Made in England. The good work you've done.
Reg Triday. No?
No, hang on.
We'll work on it.
We can do this. Elton, a Wimbleway. No? Oh, you were trying to do a pun on Friday.
Dwight.
Dwight Day.
Dwight Day.
Friday mornings, all right for fighting. And that's the official BBC line this morning. Anyway, on to more serious things. A story that we've talked about, a few times over the past few months. Very sad story. The family of a Stevenage man who died after his benefits were cut are welcoming plans to review the system. You probably remember this. 59-year-old diabetic David Clapson died through lack of insulin in July. He couldn't afford to run his fridge to keep his medication cool, and he hadn't been eating properly. And the sad part is part of the sad part is his benefits have been cut 18 days previously. MPs will discuss the rights and wrongs of the system in a Home Affairs Select Committee next year. MP Debbie Abrahams believes David Clapson's story brought it to their attention. Catherine Boyle has got more on this. Remind us about David Clapson.
Well, remember, we spoke to David's sister Jill earlier this year, and in fact we'll be speaking to her in an hour's time, because she decided it was time to bring the circumstances of David's death to the public arena. She was outraged that her brother, who was a proud man and an ex-soldier, had been brought so low by a system that should have been helping him. She told us that David had always been hard-working. He'd spent 5 years serving in the army, 2 of them in Belfast. He'd then worked for BT for 16 years and a number of other companies before he quit work to care full-time for his mother, who had dementia. And it was when she died 3 years ago that things started to go wrong for David. He began to look for a new job, and he was registered on the government's work programme. He did unpaid work experience at B&Q and for a discount store, but no full-time job. Now, David was just 59 when he died in July. He was found in his flat in Stevenage. His cupboard, there was a tin of sardines, a can of soup and 6 tea bags. That was it. His electricity card had no credit, so the fridge wasn't working, and it later transpired there was only £3.44 in his bank account. I think his mobile phone had 5 pence credit on it. Now, although the cause of death was lack of insulin, Jill places the blame squarely on the fact that 18 days previously her brother's allowance of £71.70 a week was stopped for a month because he'd missed an appointment with the government's work programme in May. Now, more than 200,000 people, it would appear, agree with Jill. They signed a petition online in a bid to bring it to the government's attention, and it would seem that they've succeeded.
Some people will be thinking, well, why didn't he ask for help?
Ultimately, it's something we will never know, because David's sister, Jill Thompson, said he was a very proud man. He was also a very quiet and private man, and he never wanted to bother anyone or admit that something was wrong. She said she used to ring him once a week, and he never said there was any problem. She knew he was actively looking for work, and in fact he was found lying next to a pile of CVs when she found him in his flat.
This inquiry, what's happening?
Debbie Abrahams is a Labour MP, and she's been calling on the government to hold an inquiry into the inappropriate use of benefit sanctions. She's been calling for that since last November. Now, the government refused, but she's now persuaded the Work and Pension Select Committee, of which she is a member, to look at the issue. Now, that inquiry is due to start early next year and is expected to be completed before May. David Clapson's sister Jill is hoping that she'll be called to give evidence. She's plenty to say on this one. Debbie Abraham said Mr Clapson's story had brought the effect of benefit sanctions into the public arena, and she's been praising Jill for showing great courage in speaking up.
The Department for Work and Pensions, what have they had to say about this?
Not a great deal. In relation to Mr Clapson's job seekers allowance being suspended, they told us that he hadn't followed the correct procedure, and he did not appeal or ask for a reconsideration of the sanction to apply for a hardship payment.
Do you know that there are so many sad elements in this story? But you know the thing that really struck me, obviously apart from his death, is that he'd been in the army for 5 years, he worked for BT for 16 years, and he ended up doing unpaid work experience at B&Q. Isn't that sad? Why didn't someone look at his CV and go, all right, he's been in the army, he's 60, yeah, we'll give you a job.
And that he's been out of the work arena for a while, but he's been caring for his mother.
He's been saving us money. I think that, well, you know, we'll speak to Jill later on, who is always a very good speaker on behalf of her brother.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
How much do you pay for your nut cut? Oh, hang on, let me just ask that again. How much do you pay for your nut cut?
About 40 quid.
You say about 40 quid, what does that mean?
It's like 37. But I always chuck an extra £5 on the end.
Why do you do that?
Niceness.
We're back to the tipping thing, aren't we?
Niceness.
I never tip my hairdresser. I used to go to a gentleman's salon in London, very exclusive, the same place that Dermot O'Leary and who's the bloke who pretends he's black? The man that makes records play on a record player.
Oh, Boom, that one.
Yeah, Boom. His dad's a vicar.
Yeah, boy.
The fella
ask
Kelly.
Yes.
Who's the gentleman that pretends he's black? He makes records. Play on a record player, and his dad was a vicar.
DJ, he goes, boom, yeah, boy!
Oh, Tim Westwood.
Yeah,
Tim Westwood. The same place that Westy went, the same place that O'Leary went. I used to go there, didn't tip there.
Well, you might not tip there, that might not be the thing.
But now I go to a women's salon. Mm-hmm. I get my hair done by women.
Yes.
New woman this week, because Vanessa's left to go and work in a school. How selfish.
She might still do mobile.
No, she don't.
I would if I had that skill.
I had a message. I said, can you pass a message on to Vanessa? And the woman said, yeah, what's the message? I said, tell her she's a massive... She said, OK, yeah. Anyway, the reason I pay £29 for my haircut. Right. There are some blokes who will be blanching at that. Because some blokes only pay... They go
to the barber.
They go to the barber and they pay £5.50.
And they hear some mucky talk.
Yeah. And they get offered...
something for the weekend.
Rubber Johnnies for the weekend. Do people still say that? French letters?
You do.
And I just wonder how much people pay... Because the Mario Balotelli... plays £500 a week.
For that,
on his
right? I could do that. Give me some gaffer tape and some clippers. I could do it for nout.
He's the fella that's got, I believe that's a Brazilian on his head, isn't it?
A mohawk.
Yes, a mohawk, isn't it? £500 a week for that.
All it is, right, what you do is you get some masking tape, put a stripe down, right?
Yeah.
Shave either side, whip the masking tape off, job's a good one.
I once had a haircut for free that, had I paid for it, would have cost me £100.
Right.
It was a good haircut. But £100 haircut?
What exactly was it? Patch up?
It wasn't a patch up. 08459 455 555. Can we find the cheapest and indeed the most expensive haircuts in Beds, Hearts and Bucks today, please?
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So far this morning, checking across the cameras in the 3 counties, not seeing any problems so far on the M25 or the A1M. In Milton Keynes, building a little on Standing Way at Newport Road as those roadworks continue there. In Park Street on the A414, building a little on the sensors around the Park Street roundabout. And taking a look at Luton Airport, there is disruption at the moment to flights to and from Italy. It's all due to some industrial action. So at the moment, passengers are being advised to check the status of their flight before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey up, Nicola! She's good, Nicola, isn't she? Right, 6:16, it's Friday, get in there! It's the 24th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up. We're asking this morning, how much do you pay for a haircut? And on the strength of that story, what have you been banned or booted out from of? 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have you ever had the urge to change the world?
To leave the house with a bath towel draped over your shoulders. To walk into the office with your pants over your trousers. To spend the whole day sporting a pair of yellow pugsy ears. Then you are Captain Costume, my friend. A fundraising fancy dresser, proud to don silly outfits in the name of raising money. So go on, be a hero for BBC Children in Need.
Sign up and pledge your allegiance at bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
Well, she looked up peach in the dress she made when she was still a mama's little girl. And when she walked down the aisle, everybody smiled at her innocence and curls. And when the preacher said, "Is there anyone here got a reason why they shouldn't wait?" I should have stuck out my hand. I should have got up to stand. Trickling down her pretty face. And when he slipped on the ring, I knew everything would never be the same again. But if the groom would have known, he'd have had a fit about his wife and the things we did. And what I planned to say, yeah, on her wedding day. Well, I thought it, but I can't.
loving it, Dealey?
Hey, boss, I've got a great phone-in for you.
Yeah, go on.
A work in progress here.
Yeah?
Messing with our minds. Songs that led us down the wrong path. What about that? Come on.
Maybe you could do that one on your show tomorrow at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, quite possibly, yeah.
I tell you what, Justin, I'm going to be generous. I'm going to let you have that song, that phone-in. So, songs that messed with your mind and led you down the wrong path.
Yeah, Elton John, Kiss the Bride, number 1.
Yeah, you could have that one. You can do that one.
Thank you.
Justin, stay there, because I want to speak to Andy from Luton. Morning, Andy.
Morning, Ian.
Yo, you all right?
Yes, fine, yeah.
You sound a little bit groggy. Do you have a big night out on a bender last night?
No.
No?
I'm okay.
Okay, what have you got for us, And?
Well, Ian, I think that you're a bit loud in the morning.
Sorry?
You're very loud. You're not shouting.
Yeah.
And it's a bit much in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Also, I think you're very bad to your girls in the studio. I mean, when
you called them my girls.
When your
I called
lady
them
took
colleagues.
over yesterday,
Yes.
she was really good.
Sorry?
She was quiet.
Well, Catherine, my lady, took over yesterday. Yeah.
I'm smooth, that's why. Smooth.
Are you?
Smooth as silk.
You've never told me that before. What? So what you say? Well, Andy, two things. Right, one is jog on. The second one is you could turn the volume down.
Yeah, but even when you turn the volume down, you're still loud.
Flipping it. So what?
You must be one of the loudest broadcasters in the country. But I do like you. I like you a lot, actually.
I like you a lot, but so okay. Well, tell me what you want done differently, Andy, because you pay my wages, and we'll listen. Go on. What have you got, boss?
Just a little bit quieter.
Okay, so how about something like this?
Yeah, that's nice. See, that's very nice.
You
in
like
the
that?
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do I get louder as the morning progresses, or am I allowed?
You do.
But do I have to stay like this until 9 o'clock?
Well, not necessarily.
No. At what time can I start to raise the volume level, Andy? When would that suit you, sir?
About 8:59.
Yeah. Do you know what you can do, Andy?
Yeah.
You can shove that up your bum. Get lost. What a chancer.
Good points, well made.
Oh, don't you... Justin, don't encourage those idiots.
You are a bit full on in the morning.
No.
Yeah,
Maybe you could start the programme with a good morning, sleepy eyes.
No, right. Listen, I'm not going to say something as creepy as that, for goodness sakes.
Why not? It works.
Hey, baby.
Right, why are you all
Throw that duvet back.
Right.
Stick your leg out.
Oh, for goodness. Why are you all
You're back
ganging
in
up
again.
on me, right? I am effectively your boss. Kelly, I noticed you're being very quiet. Well done. You're going to get a raise. Catherine?
You're not the boss of me.
Well, technically I am.
No, you're not.
Whose show is this? Whose name's above the door, Just?
It's yours.
Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah, who writes all your scripts?
Who
decides what you're going to talk about?
Who breathes life into those soulless words? It's the singer, not the song, that makes the music...
you won't mind if I delete them all?
No, whoa. Let's keep the scripts there, shall we? But let's just bear in mind...
Just recognise.
Let's see how we get on next week when you're bunking off, shall we?
Let's.
Yeah, let's.
I think that we all do a really good job.
Keep out of this, Bets.
You're not
apart from
Switzerland
you.
in this one.
08459 455 555. Who's the most important person in my team? Bearing in mind the phrase, my team. Yeah?
That you're using.
Thank you. Justin.
Yeah.
You just watch it, mate.
Watch what?
Watch your lip, fella.
Listen, I never kicked off there. I just let Andy have his say, and when you was talking to your team, I just sat back and just relaxed.
Such an idiot. Now, it's a very serious story we've got you on this morning, Just.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pensioner from Welwyn Garden City, furious that she's been banned from a lunch... Well, it says here a lunch club. I think that's supposed to be a lunch club. I don't know who writes these scripts, but their spelling is awful. She helped... a lunch club that she helped to save. Joy Ashburn was a leading voice in the campaign to keep these sessions at the Douglas Tilby House, but been told she's no longer welcome by Age UK Hertfordshire. Justin, you've been looking into this.
Yeah.
Do we know why Joy's been banned?
Incredible story. Joy attended the Douglas Tilby House, but she seems to have fallen out of favour there after Age UK Hertfordshire changed the menus for the lunch club, with Meals on Wheels replacing freshly cooked food. Now, she says that she and others didn't like this change, so she set out to improve the situation for everyone's benefit, but get this, was accused of intimidating intimidating staff. A pensioner. Then about 6 months later, she said that she received a letter from Age UK Hertfordshire saying that she was no longer to go to the Douglas Tilby house in Welwyn Garden City.
OK, so what did Age UK say that Joy was doing to upset them?
Well, Joy says the letter from Age UK Hertfordshire didn't go into precise details. She said none of the visitors discouraged her from continuing to campaign on their behalf after she was barred from the premises. She says that people are still paying the same price for food when she knows the Meals on Wheels are cheaper to produce. Joy told us that people using the premises, they are still human beings and they're entitled to dignity, and that apparently is what's missing.
Age UK Hertfordshire, what have they said?
Well, we invited them onto the programme this morning, but they say there's nothing that could be aired in public which would help the situation, which is slightly disappointing. The chief exec there, Marion Birch, confirmed that they had asked Joy Ashburn not to attend Douglas Tilby House. She said Age UK has contact with well over 4,000 older people a week and look after most of them very well.
Oh, it's a shame they won't come on, because we do know that Age UK does do excellent work. I'm assuming Joy's been back in touch with the organisation.
Well, Joy has tried to resolve the situation, but says Age UK Hertfordshire won't let her go back, and they won't even agree to a meeting. She feels that she's being victimised for trying to help older people. She said it's not a nice situation, and thinks that members of staff at the house, they would have been removed from their jobs if they had spoken out. So she claims the staff there also agree with her.
OK, well, we'll speak to Joy later on in the programme and see if we can find out exactly what's going on. Just, it leads us to a cracking little Vox, maybe. What have you been banned from? What have you been booted out of? Always a good one.
Yeah, I got banned from my library at school.
Sorry?
Yes.
Why?
Because I wouldn't shut up. I was very, very noisy when I was at school, and they warned me on a few occasions. They had CCTV put into the library at our school.
Wow.
And, I was banned, which was actually a lovely band to be part of.
Who wants to be near all that information and knowledge?
Yeah.
I got booted out of a library, the library in Slough for being too noisy. 08459 455 555. Also, just how much do you pay for your nut cut?
I pay £25.
Yeah, because I pay £29 for mine. There will be some people who think that's a little bit poncy, and Mario Balotelli pays £500 for his Brazilian on his head.
That man is an absolute lunatic, and he's not a very good footballer either.
If you get a chance, can we find the cheapest and the most expensive haircut in Beds, Hearts and Bucks?
Yeah, are people seriously saying £29 is too much? That's about the average for a decent haircut.
No, there will be blokes, there will be geezers that go to the local barbers and get it done for £5.50, and they'll think that's expensive.
Well, it's not 1972 anymore. £29, I think, is probably about the average.
Justin, speak to you later on. Excellent stuff. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the Great North Road, seeing some build-up now on the sensors approaching the Black Cat roundabout as those major roadworks are continuing. Also, Milton Keynes, those roadworks continuing on Standing Way, so building a little at Newport Road. The A414 in Park Street also building up on the sensors around the Park Street roundabout. And taking a look so far on public transport, everything's running well on the trains, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport. It's all due to some industrial action that's taking place, so passengers are being advised to check the state of their flight with their airline before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July from a lack of insulin after his job seekers allowance was suspended. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail, and a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat the Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick but ended up in goal after Hugo Lloris was sent off. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. Tomorrow, second-place Watford go to third-place Middlesbrough in the Championship. Alman Abdi is ruled out. There's a doubt over on-loan Sebastian Bassong as Slavisa Jokanovic prepares for his third game in charge.
We are 1 week team all together. And we are trying to explain what we exactly want. We start one process and soon I expect we will play better what we played last game.
In League One, Milton Keynes Dons go to Doncaster and will check on the fitness of Carl McFadzean and Dean Bowditch. League Two leaders Wickham are returned to Dagenham. Third place Luton, just a point behind the leaders, could welcome back Alex Lawless at home to Northampton, with John Still's side hoping to make it 7 wins in a row.
We're capable of those magic moments. And I think that, you know, we have to make those magic moments tell, and at the moment we are. And I think that, you know, season goes, I think the magic moments might last for longer spells, but sometimes they haven't got to last long. What was, I think, 2 goals in, was it 3 minutes the other night? And we do have that capability.
And Stevenage hosts second place Burton, whose manager Gary Rowett looks set to leave for Birmingham. Here's Borough boss Graham Westley.
Yeah, whether he goes or whether he doesn't, they're at Burton, and their futures, their careers are going to be defined by what goes on at Burton. So I'm sure the players they're professional enough to be where they are in the league right now. I'm sure they'll be professional enough to keep their mind focused on the job, irrespective of what the manager does or doesn't do.
And in tennis, Andy Murray will play South Africa's Kevin Anderson in the quarter-finals of the Valencia Open as he continues his bid to qualify for the season-ending World Tour finals in London. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
So, how much do you pay for a haircut? What have you been booted out of or barred from? And, well, anything else you fancy, really. Papers coming up soon. 08459 455 555.
We're strangers. I know a girl who drinks herself to sleep at night. You can't change her. I know people who use chat rooms as confessionals. I know down and out who once were. Wipe it off your sleeve, your superiority. Don't roll your eyes, my sweet. I know a single mother who loses her mind on weekends. She plays with lady luck on scratch cards with money lent to her by old friends. I know people who take midnight drives for headspace. I know what they'd give for just one loving embrace. Wipe it off your sleeve, your superiority. Don't roll your eyes, my sweet. We're just the same, we all get desperate sometimes. Feeling black and blue. I know you'll find it hard to accept it sometimes. We all feel black and we feel blue. Wipe it off your sleeve, your superiority. Don't roll your eyes, my sweet. I know a rich man who has everything you could wish for, but children. I know an old lady who talks a lot but could teach you if you listen. I know people who believe in gods and demons. I know ones who think there's nothing there at all. Wipe it off your Don't roll your eyes, my sweet.
You've just discovered Paloma Faith, haven't you, Kelly Betts?
Yeah, I just found her.
Yeah, because you got your finger on the pulse of up-and-coming new music. She's been around for about 10 years.
Yeah, I shared a lift with her. You know, a
From
lift
where
that
to
goes
where?
up and down.
Oh, yeah.
It went to, like, ground floor to 6th.
Okay.
And she said, oh, and you got small feet.
And you said, and you got big gums.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Is she taller than you?
Of course she is.
She's massive.
She's not.
She's a big girl.
I thought she was tiny.
No, she's a big girl.
She's not big.
She's broad.
No.
She's as broad as she is tall, wide.
Who do you think that you're talking about?
Who are you talking about?
Oh, I'm thinking about Rusty Lee. Then I'm always thinking about Rusty Lee.
Wow.
Who have you shared a lift with? 08459 455 555. Doesn't even have to be famous people.
Jenny Eclair.
Oh, yeah. What's she like? Is she nice?
Didn't speak. We're in a lift. That'd be weird.
But Barbara Windsor. Shared a lift with Barbara Windsor, right? It was a showbiz do. And it's one of those showbiz do's, and she's one of those showbiz people who assumes that she knows everyone. So I was in the lift with my wife, and Barbara Windsor came, and I held the lift open for her. She went, oh, thank you, darling. You busy at the moment? You working much? We've never met before. I went, yeah, I'm a bit busy. Babs, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine, darling. I'm fine.
Did she give you that? Oh.
No. And her bra pinged off.
And she got goosed.
Yep. Balio Maratelli, that's wrong. Mario Balotelli has let footy stardom go to his head by blowing £500 a week on his hair.
A week?
Well, it sounds like a lot of money because it is.
That's like an old-fashioned lady going to the hairdressers once a week.
But how much does he earn? How much does he earn a week?
Loads.
Yeah, exactly. He earns £110,000 a week.
Yeah.
He's 24.
Oh.
I was signing on at 24 and I was very seriously in debt. Say seriously in debt. I was about £5,000 in debt.
I'm still a student.
Flipping heck. £500 a week, though. When you earn that much money, you can do what you want, can't you?
It doesn't mean anything to you anymore, does it?
No, of course it doesn't.
I think it spoils them. I can't imagine being that loaded, that young. It would have ruined me.
Well,
ruined.
0845. Don't say it like that.
It would have been. I would have been ruined.
08459 455 555. How much do you pay for your nut cut, please, dear listener? What have you got in the papes?
Well, not a lot, to be honest. There was this story. I was just talking to you about the Sergeant at Arms from the Canadian Parliament. Did you see it?
Yeah.
If you look on the Daily Mirror's online website thing that they've got, you can see this really moving footage of him getting a standing ovation from the rest of the MPs.
So, this is the fella that shot
the jihadi.
Wowzers.
And he's doing that very manly thing of just about keeping it in.
You talk about, Mario Balotelli being a hero, Ched Evans being a hero. That fella's an actual, literal hero. And you look at him, he looks like, 57, something like that?
White hair.
White-haired bloke.
Looks like Leslie Nielsen.
Yeah, he does. He looks like a normal bloke. And he's just walking calmly away with a gun. That's your proper actual hero that saved lives.
He is.
Not some plum that had sex with a drunk girl, consensual or otherwise, and, is now going to get paid a fortune for playing football. That's not a hero. What's the fella's name? Let's have his name again, because people like that...
Where is it? It was in the other paper.
People like that should have the books, and it was in there, wasn't it? I thought you had it in there.
I don't know. I've just opened it. Hang on.
Let's make his name up. His name was Steve.
No, his name was not Steve. I'll find out. He deserves a good mention.
Speaking of heroes, love rat shocker. Wife spies bigamist hubby on Facebook.
Oh!
Wedding snaps on web. A wife found her husband was a bigamist when she saw snaps of him kissing his new bride on Facebook.
Right. There's oversharing on Facebook and then there's oversharing on Facebook.
You would think if you were a bigamist and your second wife says, shall we put these pictures... No, probably better. Let's keep it private. Let's not share them on Facebook.
Yeah, but maybe he felt that he couldn't do that because she'd be wondering why. If you just got married, why aren't you? It's the web of deceit.
Yvonne Gibney, 55, web to globe-trotting oil contractor Morris for 17 years, discovered 11-month-old pictures of a £45,000 ceremony in the Arab states of Oman, and I bet when he got busted, he went, oh man. Yeah, come on, let's have that. Hang on. That's what I'm talking about. She hunted for more clues and then went to police. Yvonne told a court that 49-year-old Gibney, on £85,000 a year, tax-free, had told his own family they're divorced and that she was crazy. She said, I loved him unconditionally and believed that love was reciprocated. I simply don't have the words to effectively convey the pain and sense of betrayal. I bet you do have the words.
I bet they're short and 4 letters.
You got plenty of words.
The hero we were referring to earlier on, Kevin Vickers.
Well done, Mr.
Kevin Vickers, what a man.
Well done, Mr.
What
Vickers.
a man.
You can stick that in your pipe, Simon Cowell.
It's just the look on his face. You know, sometimes with manly men,
Yep, I do.
Them holding the tears in is devastating to look at.
Holding back the tears.
This is a proper hero. And we referred to the person he shot as a jihadi. We apparently had dreams of becoming a jihadist. He's been referred to by the papers as a Muslim convert at this point.
Speaking of heroes, and I know what I'm getting you for Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
I'm getting you Katie Price's boobs.
Oh.
She's selling them.
I don't want them.
No, but
they're worn out, aren't they?
No. These things
She said plenty of wear.
Plenty of life in the old dog yet. Katie flogs her boobs, all 12 of them. Katie Price wants to sell her old boob implants to raise money for breast cancer charities. The model and author made the astonishing offer to The Sun after revealing she will have a 7th boob op in the next few weeks. It emerged she keeps some of her old implants in a safe.
Of course she does.
At her home.
Of course she does. She's canny. I wouldn't want them, would you?
She wants a 7th op, an early Christmas present for herself and husband Kieran, because she feels the births of Jet 1 and 2-month-old Bunny have taken their toll. She admitted, I've had 2 babies very quickly, so they're saggy. Why are they saggy? Because they won't be suckling on your fake plastic boobs, will they?
I think you can.
if you've got enough money, ask Kieran Hayler. If you have the nipples connected to the thigh bone's connected to the bum bone.
If anyone knows whether this is right, can you still breastfeed after having, quite enormous implants?
It depends what kind of implants you have, I think. Because some they're still connected and some they are disconnected.
You seem to know a lot about this.
I've read a lot about them. 08459 455 555. We'll have more looks through the papers after this.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off this morning in Milton Keynes and starting to build up on Standing Way where those roadworks are taking place, just at Newport Road. The M25 starting to look heavy heading anti-clockwise between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 20 at Kings Langley. Also rather heavy anti-clockwise between junction 17 at Maple Cross and junction 16 for the M40, and building up on the North Orbital Road at the moment on the sensors at junction 21A for the M25. Taking a look at public transport, so far the trains are running well, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport, so do check before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Nicola, thank you very much. Catherine,
the only people who are going to buy those implants are perverts. Leave it at that.
I'm glad you stopped the sentence there. That's not the complete sentence, dear listener. 6:45, it's Friday the 24th of October. I'm a little bit windy this morning, I can only apologise. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up. Let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. We've got quite a mild start to the day, but it's looking fairly cloudy and wet, I'm afraid. We've got some, sort of varying levels of rain, so sometimes drizzly, some moderate outbreaks as well. But by this afternoon, it turns a bit more showery, and there could be some heavier ones then, perhaps even some thunder. We've still got that southwesterly breeze with highs of 16 degrees Celsius. Now, we do see the back of that rain tonight, probably before midnight, and then we're left with some long clear intervals, so quite a chilly one. Probably some mist and fog developing as well, with lows of 7 degrees, so that's going to be quite a significant drop compared with recent nights. Tomorrow, a cool start to the day, that mist taking a little while to clear, and a largely dry day with plenty of sunny spells, feeling much more pleasant with lighter winds and highs of 14 degrees Celsius. Sunday, a little bit breezy in places, but quite bright and looking mostly dry. And on Monday, we could have some patchy drizzle, but we do have high pressure building next week, so although we'll have some chilly nights, we've got some warm air coming up from the Atlantic, so we should have milder days. days. That's your latest forecast.
Hey, Georgina.
Yes.
We're talking about, have you ever shared a lift with a celebrity? Have you ever shared a lift with a celebrity?
I don't think I have.
Well, Kelly Betts.
Hello.
You've shared a lift with a celebrity, haven't you?
I shared a lift with Georgina.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you stood next to me and you smelt delicious, but I didn't want to say anything.
You see?
Why didn't you say anything?
I don't know, it was really packed lift. Georgina. It was awkward.
Georgina, it would have been weird if a little person next to you had said, "You smell delicious," in a lift.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's weird that she didn't.
Blushing.
It's a bit stalky that she didn't say anything, isn't it?
No.
She just sniffed you.
What would I have said? Oh, hi, Georgina.
I work with you every day.
You know you do our weather.
Yes.
Next time, say that to me, okay? I will be very nice back, I promise.
Georgina, thank you very much, and thank you for making lifts smell delish everywhere.
Every weekday from 3.
Good afternoon, welcome to the show.
Local people.
What's your story?
Seems there's a law for them and then there's one for the press, and I disagree with what they're saying.
Local views.
In some cases, sort of 40% loss in value on their properties.
Has Kelly Luton got it right?
There is a responsibility when you're paid from the public purse.
Local life.
Do you want to know how much my carer's allowance goes up by every April when the tax year changes? £2.
Roberto Peroni.
And is it fair to target people on Ben?
Oh, I'm bored. We've got loads to talk about. We've got loads to talk about, and we haven't got time for the business of the day. We haven't got time for the business because there's a lot to get in. The papers are cram-packed. Now, I folded this page here because I was going to talk about Oscar Pistorius. Killer Oscar Pistorius cried himself to sleep on his first night in prison. Of course he did. He's a big baby. But I've just noticed the story underneath it, and this is flipping awesome. The world is becoming so wonderful. This is the 21st century equivalent of those global hypercolour T-shirts.
Yes, which highlighted when you were sweating.
Yeah.
Because everyone wants to know that.
I always wanted one of those.
I did. I never got one.
Are they still working? If you've got a global hypercolour T-shirt, or I believe you could get trousers and even hats.
You don't want trousers, surely. Surely.
Bacon-scented T-shirts.
Oh.
Ooh.
I had one of those yesterday.
Are being sold online by a clothing firm which promises the smell will last 20 washes. The top has a picture of 4 rashers and a fried egg printed on the front, and the ink used smells like the real thing.
Scratch and sniff.
The T-shirt... Excuse me, love, can I just smell your rasher? The T-shirt, available in small, medium, large and extra large, is being sold for £17.
I would suggest they want to go extra, extra large as well.
It boasts talk about Georgina smelling delish in a lift. It boasts a crispy bacon scent for up to 6 feet away.
Oh.
One customer online gave it a 5 out of 5 review, saying, "An awesome gift for any guy."
That sounds a little bit like the customer might be the person who makes the T-shirts. I don't know, but I heard that people do that. Why on earth do you want to smell like bacon? We went to the oddest cafe in the world yesterday.
We went to a haunted cafe.
It was weird.
It was next door. It was empty. It was next door to a convenience store of some description. Quite an inconvenient store. And to open the cafe, the woman had to close the corner shop.
She was adorable, though, and... but it was an odd setup.
And then we met David Ruffin.
There were shoes under the table. There were shoes under the adjoining table.
It was very weird. And then David Ruffin, the pop singer, popped in. Speaking, this fella popped in looking like David Ruffin, speaking Portuguese to us.
Well, yeah.
And he wanted to stay. He then...
He put his bag down as if he was coming in.
Put his bag down to stay with us. And then he said, "I'm just going to go next door to order some food." And when he went, I said to everyone, right, he thinks he's sitting with us. We need to go now.
Because there was only one long table.
Yeah.
And then there was a sort of side table which had the shoes underneath.
And a mouldy tomato.
And a dog's ball.
A what?
A dog's ball.
And then when we went next door to pay up, how trusting of this wonderful, wonderful woman. The fella said in broken English and Portuguese, "Are you not staying? Oh, I'll be off then." It was what a delightful fruitcake, wasn't he?
It was bonkers from start to finish.
He was from Mozambique.
Anyway, we came out of there smelling like bacon, and I'm not sure that's a good thing.
A goose on the loose is worth more than moose. A goose on the loose is rescued by a wildlife worker after closing Britain's busiest motorway. This is nuts, OK? This is actually nuts. This is when I think we should have just put a bolt through this goose's head or let it fend for itself, right? The injured bird crash-landed on the M25 before waddling along the hard shoulder. 3 anti-clockwise lanes were shut for 10 minutes as volunteer Ron Turner, or as I like to call him, do-gooder, and vet Christina Flamini, or as I like to call her, Nosy Bonk, cornered the Canada goose. Wildlife Aid Foundation staff filmed the rescue. A spokesman said, It had broken its wing and was unable to fly. It was in a daze.
You don't think it's worth saving?
Well, what a waste of time! It's the M25, for goodness sakes.
It's a tiny life.
It had broken its wing and was unable to fly. It was in a daze. It's a goose, for crying out loud.
So what you reckon? Nature's pruning shears, run it down.
Well, it's a goose. It was on the hard shoulder. It was dying on the hard shoulder. Tough. I drive past a squashed fox every day. What, you want to scrape that up and then give it a good Christian burial? What a load of old balls.
All right, then. So you don't care about gooses.
Geese.
Let's put that on the list for things that you can do without with pandas.
Yeah.
What about the dog with the bolt through its head?
I'm a big fan of animals with bolts through their head. I think it looks wonderful.
This is the story of a staffy that was found in Woodland with a crossbow bolt through its head, narrowly missing its brain.
Now, listen, the dog's fine.
It's been in there for a few days.
The dog's fine. I want to see an X-ray of that, because those X-rays are always awesome, of sharp... Hey, if you've ever had a sharp implement pierce your body anywhere, 08459 455 555. I'm serious about that. And of course, I don't wish the dog ill. The dog is alive and is well, but it's a remarkable picture to see that. And let's be honest, there's nothing, and people say this is cruel, there's nothing better than seeing a dog with no back legs.
What?
That's got wheels attached to it, scampering along. There is nothing better.
There was a three-legged dog that used to get on our playground all the time when we were kids, and it would cause delight.
Those creatures are God's, they're nature's survivors.
They're little fighters.
Aren't they?
My auntie had a dog that had wheels. Had wheels, and it used to go like the clappers. It was very poorly, though.
You talk about hero. Forget that Canadian fella, actually. Let's take him off the hero list. It's dogs on wheels or dogs with bolts through their heads. Those guys are the real heroes. If you've ever had something sharp enter your body, steady, 08459 455 555. Kelly, who's BBC introducing this week?
Hello, it's Witcher Mirrors. They're from Brookmans Park. They're a duo. It's Josh and Michael.
Richard who?
Witcher.
Richard...
Witcher.
All right, Paloma Faith, say it properly.
Kind of like Watcher, but Witcher.
OK, so Richard Mirrors, and what's their song entitled?
Witcher.
I don't know, you tell me, which one are we playing now? You touch on my car, smash it in your face.
Light years.
Questions the way that the sun leaves the sky as the miracle fades right in front of her eyes. How a beautiful dust spreads colours so wide. We never really knew, we never really knew. We were laying on the grass while we were still young, and forever was ours. But summer fades fast. We'll chase a heaven-born memory into our hearts. Flowers grow down by the winding road, where time goes slow, distance never shows. We're almost home, but there's still a way to go. We're light years away. We're light years Seasons change. Will the people we love still love us the same? And will we see them again? When the seeds that we've sown are born again, flowers still grow out of the winding road, where time moves slow, distance never shows. So don't let go, there's other worlds to know. We're light years away. We're light years away. We're light years away, but we're almost home. Light years away from the world we've shown. Light years away, but we're almost home. Light years away, whoa. Light years away, whoa.
Hey! Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M25, heading anti-clockwise, it's looking very slow at the moment on the speed sensors between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 20 at Kings Langley. Also rather heavy anti-clockwise between junction 17 at Maple Cross and junction 16 for the M40. On the sensors in Bricky Wood, it's already looking heavy on the North Orbital Road, just at junction 21A for the M25, and the A414, a little bit slow moving around the Park Street roundabout at the moment. Taking a look at the M25, there's major roadworks taking place between junction 25 for Enfield and junction 27 for the M11, so expect delays there. Also disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport today due to some industrial action, so do check before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. So, a long list of things. Ever had something sharp inserted into your body or through your flesh? Be careful. Shared a lift with anybody, celebrity or otherwise, and what have you been booted out of? Oh, and how much did your haircut cost?
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: family of Stevenage man welcome benefits review, Bedfordshire woman bailed after terror arrest, and pensioner banned from Hertfordshire OAP Centre.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July from a lack of insulin after his job seekers allowance was suspended. His sister started an online petition which has been signed by thousands of people. More from Lee Agnew.
Mr Clapson was found dead in his flat with just £3.44 in his bank account, and he had no electricity to power the fridge where he kept his insulin. 18 days before, his allowance had been suspended after he failed to attend a job seekers meeting. Since his death, more than 200,000 people have signed a petition calling for an inquiry, and now a parliamentary select committee will examine the issue.
A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. Scotland Yard say the woman, who has not been named, has been bailed until early February pending further inquiries. Police searched 2 addresses in Bedfordshire, including one in Kempston. Council leaders want to scrap the ban on parents taking their children on holiday during term time. The number of school days lost to term time holidays has dropped to a record low after fines were introduced last year. This week, a Bedfordshire head teacher cancelled her term time holiday after criticism from parents at Elstow School. Peter Fleming is from the Local Government Association.
We believe that schools are best placed to understand the circumstances of the families and the pupils in their care, and therefore isn't it better for, instead of there being a blanket ban, a more common sense approach where a school, a head can make a valued judgment around this issue?
The government says it will challenge a decision by the European Union to demand the UK pays an extra £1.7 billion towards the EU's budget. Contributions over the past 4 years are being adjusted to take into account economic growth. A pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local centre for older people. Joy Ashburn was barred from Douglas Tilby House after receiving a letter from Age UK Hertfordshire. More from Ewan Duncan.
Joy campaigned for improvements at the centre in Welwyn Garden City after it stopped providing fresh lunches on site and opted for Meals on Wheels instead. She says she was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up. The chief executive of Age UK Hertfordshire, which runs the site, confirmed it's asked Joy Ashburn not to attend the centre.
In sport, in last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. The weather, some rain this morning, which will be heavy at times, but clearing this afternoon. A maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
From the top of the springs, looking down, it really is stunning.
All this week, we're uncovering Barton le Clay.
It's a lovely, friendly village. Everybody knows everybody, and there's plenty to do.
Telling everyone about where you live.
I think we've made more friends here quickly in the 4.5 years we've been here.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's Friday. I tell you what, I've just looked outside. Isn't it dark? It's 7 o'clock and yet it's still night time out there. It gets even darker next week. Don't forget, guys. The clocks go forward. I know, the clocks go forward at the weekend. It's even darker next week. Flippin' heck. Right, lots to talk about this morning. We'll be talking about, well, all kinds of things. The very sad story of the soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut. Pensioner from Hertfordshire has been booted out of her local OAP centre. What have you been booted out of or banned from? Other things, who have you shared a lift with? Doesn't even have to be someone famous. Could be anybody. That's why I like this one so much. Who have you shared a lift with? Maybe it was a stinky person. Maybe it was a sweaty person. Maybe it was a midwife. Ever had something shoved through your body or your skin? 08459 455 555. And how much do you pay for your haircut? I paid £29. There'll be some people going, oh, what a ponce. Can we find the cheapest and yet the most expensive haircuts at the same time? Please. If you want to get in touch, phone is the best way. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Liz is on the line. Good morning, Liz.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us?
I don't know what time you're going to be getting up for work next week, my love, because it's fall back. The clocks go back.
Why do I have to... every year I have to deal with this. It's spring back, fall forwards.
Spring forward.
Who's ever sprung forward in their life? Liz, the clocks go forward, we lose an hour at the weekend.
No, they go back.
Hey, isn't it dark out there this morning?
Very dark.
Was it?
As if you went to bed at 8 o'clock in the evening, you'll be going to bed at 7 o'clock in the evening on Saturday.
Well, no, because it happened... Well, the change is at, 2 o'clock in the morning.
But you put your clocks... I always do my clocks before I go to bed.
I never know, Liz, which of my clocks do it automatically and which of them have to be done by finger.
Well, I have to do most of mine by finger.
And who knows... Does anybody in the world know how to set the clock on the cooker? No, for half of the year, everyone's cooker clock is wrong because no one knows how to change it. That's if you've bothered to set it in the first place after a power cut.
I know how to do mine.
Liz, so listen, don't forget, clocks go forward on Saturday night. Thank you very much indeed. 08459 455 555. Ignore Liz. People like that really do wind me up. It's true, though, no one knows how to set a clock on the cooker, do they? You don't know how to do it. Ours is just flashing 8888. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. And by the way, I throw this stuff out to talk about. You know this, but we've got new listeners. You're more than welcome to call in about anything you want. If you just fancy a chat, do you know what I mean? We'll probably get you on somewhere. Now, a very sad story that we've spoken about this, I think, 2 or 3 times before. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut say they're overwhelmed that MPs will review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July as he couldn't afford electricity to keep his insulin cool after his job seeker's allowance was suspended. He also, I think, had a tin of sardines. It was all the food he had in his house. Well, since then, more than 200,000 people have signed a petition calling for an inquiry, and now the Work and Pensions Select Committee will examine the issue. In a moment, we'll hear from Labour MP Debbie Abrahams, a member of the committee. But first, we can speak to Jill Thompson, who started the petition. Good morning to you, Jill.
Good morning.
You've been so busy collecting names on this petition for your brother. What's the number at now? Do you know?
It was 211,822.
Fantastic. Did you ever think you'd get that many names on there?
No, I didn't think it would go like this. I was so surprised.
And the thing about David, and we've spoken about David before, but it's worth mentioning, he wasn't a chancer. He wasn't some scrounger trying to live the life. He'd worked 5 years in the army, 16 years at BT, and then quit work to look after Mum, who was very poorly.
Yes, Mum had dementia for 11 years. Plus as well, he had been going to, I think it's called CTEC, the place that you have to go to. He'd taken a forklift truck licence.
He'd done the test, so he could drive a forklift truck.
Yeah,
he had a pile of CVs by him, didn't he, when he passed away?
Yeah, he actually went on the computer course. He'd done 2 placements as well, where they send you, where you can go to a company and work for a week.
He wanted to work?
Yeah, he did, and he enjoyed these placements. He actually asked for another placement, and he was told that he'd done a few, and, other people needed to do this as well, so let them have a chance. He also went down the job centre, and he asked for some help, and, mind you, this is what he told me. He turned around and said he was told they weren't there to help him get a job. They were there for him to sign on.
He was 59 when he died, the 20th of July. Why? What do you think the problem was? Why are benefits being brought into question here, Jill?
The thing is, they turned around and said to, the sanctions people said that this was always used as a last resort. They use that as the very last resort to get people to do as they're told. The thing was, they've issued nearly 2 million. That's an awful lot of last resorts, isn't it? And plus as well, they said they followed procedures, no errors were made. If people are dying, surely something's wrong with the procedures. My brother's not the only one. I've got a list of people that have died. People that have had brain tumours, people with cancer, people that are waiting heart operations, people who committed suicide. Is that okay? I don't think it is.
Jill, stay there, because I want to bring Debbie Abrahams into the conversation. Morning, Debbie. Oh, you're there. You're there. Good morning, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. So tell us how your connection to Jill and how you first came across this story.
Well, I met Jill in September, but prior to that, I've been campaigning for over a year. Approaching a year, since November last year, to try and get an inquiry. I had constituents who were being sanctioned, what I thought was completely inappropriately. The employment minister at the time, Esther McVeigh, said that she would instigate one, then backtracked on that. And since then I had, again, another constituent who was a former JCP advisor who said that people are being set up to fail. And that's when I became really angry, to see that people were being put through such misery, and obviously it's such tragic consequences that we've heard about around David.
So what do you think is wrong with the system? What would you like to see changed?
Well, as the Select Committee recommended, we believe that the targets are for advisors at the Job Centre around getting people off benefits, and they are being targeted as well to, around sanctioning people. There is a new sanctions regime which was introduced in October 2012, and since then 4.5 million people have been sanctioned. 2 million of those have had their benefits stopped for at least 4 weeks. So you've got to put this massive increase. These are people on JSA, and we found that people on employment support allowance, people who are disabled or a long-term condition, since March last year, it's gone up by 2.5 times. So these are really significant. And I think what the issue is that I'm particularly concerned about is how this is affecting unemployment statistics. There is some initial work that is going to come out in the next few days from a research group at Oxford that's, really putting a question that this is actually taking people off register. I thought that it was doing, and now we're getting the evidence that it is actually happening.
The government's refused to hold an inquiry, so it's great you're looking into stories like this, but it's going to be quite toothless, isn't it, Debbie?
Well, no, I don't think it is. The terms of reference will be published in the next few days on the Select Committee's website, but we'll be looking at the appropriateness of sanctions. So do they work? They're meant to be helping people get back into work. Is that the case? And as I say, this research group, and there are other research groups across the country as well looking at this. What are the effects? So is it... Obviously, we've heard the tragic consequences of David's death, but there are others, as Jill has just said. And then what are the alternatives as well? So does financial sanctions have to be the only option? Obviously, if people are getting support from the state while they're unemployed, as anybody, if you become redundant, we have a welfare state because we believe this is the right thing to do. But are there alternatives? Are there alternatives to that? And we want to look at that in the inquiry as well.
Jill, you must be over the moon that at last it would appear that people in power, or people who are close to power, are listening to you and to others like you.
I just can't believe it. I'm still in the daze. I mean, it all started with that one sentence, they knew he was diabetic, we followed procedures, no errors were made, and I just walked around with this letter for days crying, and I rang up the local newspaper, the local student newspaper, and spoke to a wonderful man, Mr. Michael Havis, and he listened to me, and it started from there.
Well, Jill, you're doing great work. David, I'm sure, would be very, very proud of what you've achieved so far and where this might go. We'll speak again, Jill.
That's lovely, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you for your time. No doubt we'll speak to you as well. The last voice you heard there was Jill Thompson, the sister of David Clapson, and the other voice was Labour MP Debbie Abrahams.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M25, heading anti-clockwise, there's a lane closed at the moment following a vehicle fire. It's between junction 16 for the M40 and junction 15 for the M4, so do expect delays. It is looking very slow on camera at the moment. Taking a look at the M25 anti-clockwise, very heavy at the moment between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 20 at Kings Langley, and it's queuing on camera on the Barnet bypass between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. So far, looking at the trains, there's no problems or delays, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport, so do check before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning. morning. This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 7:16. It is Friday, the 24th of October. I'm Iain Lee, and these are your headlines. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a beautiful village. We're surrounded by nice open countryside.
From the top of the springs, looking down, it really is stunning.
All this week, we're uncovering Barton le Clay.
It's a super village. It's got all the amenities.
You've got the old part on one side of the A6. You've got the newer part on the other side.
Telling everyone about where you live.
It's a nice atmosphere. People walking the dogs.
In snow, in sunshine, it's beautiful at sunset.
I wouldn't leave it. If you paid me millions, I still wouldn't leave. I love it here.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks from BBC Three Counties Radio. Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Go, boy,
Not really. I can see Status Quo are out on.
Well, really?
Yeah, they're doing an advert for their new album, and for some reason they're naked behind their guitars.
It's unplugged.
He's cut his hair off.
Sorry?
He's cut his hair
He
off.
had to because he had a heart attack. Isn't that one of the things that can give you a heart attack in a man? Long hair?
Ponytail.
Yeah. No, they've all cut. Well, one's bald, and the other one had a heart attack.
No, you know the one that used to have really long hair and he'd always had it in a ponytail?
He's gone bald.
He was bald when he had the ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's cut it all off now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
His mate had a heart attack. I don't know what your beef is.
Do you think the hairdresser literally snipped it at the top of the ponytail?
Yeah, and I hope he sold it on eBay for $25,000. Whatever you want, whatever you like, you pay your money, you take your choice, you go to Argos.
She put his clothes on.
Well, he probably can't afford clothes anymore after spending all his money in Argos. Argos is a weird shop, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a strange thing to go in and not be quite sure what you want to buy, so you spend 10 minutes looking at a book.
You're buying everything under the counter.
Literally. It is exciting, though, when they call your number.
Yeah.
It is anywhere where your number is called, the post office, the deli counter, the Argos. It is exciting. You feel special.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Do you not? I feel special.
I do. Even though it's like number 258.
Yeah.
So they've called loads that day. You still think, oh, that's me.
That's me. Or someone
and you're only
wants
that
me.
number for like a couple of seconds.
I love it.
A minute.
I love it.
It's all mind games, you know.
Sorry?
You're just in a queue.
The deli counter's not playing mind games with me.
Of course it is.
Tony Argos isn't playing mind games with me. That's his name, actually. That's actually his name.
Shouldn't need numbers. We should just queue up like normal British people.
Oh, for goodness sakes. I'd have thought you love the Continentals. You'd be all over that stuff.
No, they do need numbers. They have those in the
sweaty
doctors.
Continental rash.
Eh? They have those in the doctors. The
What?
cheese counter numbers.
Yeah, they have that in my doctors.
Well, because they can't be trusted to queue up, that's why. Anyway, go on.
With what?
Talking to Peter.
Hello, Peter.
Good morning, Iain. Peace be with you, brother.
I'm going to have that, thank you. Got a bit of a headache today. Get this, Peter. I had two bits of excellent news yesterday. Excellent news.
Yes.
Sorry?
Yes.
Yes. And I was still really grumpy yesterday night. How is that possible? How ungrateful is that?
It's all in the dull old weather. It gets you in.
Yeah. I like this dull hard weather.
Oh, I don't. I like sunshine.
I hate sunshine. Don't forget, put your clocks forward, Peter, at the weekend. What you got for us?
Well, what I've got for you is, cracking show. We've enjoyed the whole week, and this is the last one. And yet, be as noisy as you like in the morning. I don't care.
What, last one ever? What do you know that I don't know?
No. Last one of the week.
Correctamundo for this place. Yes.
I'm having a monkey climb down today because Elton John's all very well, but where's the monkeys?
Oh, the Peter, you speak on my language. You ask me where the monkeys is, and I just go...
Zilch, Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina, Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina.
Zilch, China Clipper calling Alameda. China Clipper calling Alameda. Zilch, China Clipper calling Alameda.
Self-defense. There's the monkeys for us this morning, dear listener.
Under that hazy cloud of you-know-what.
Guys, don't do drugs because you'll release that as a record in the 1960s. 08459 455 555. Now, a pensioner from Welwyn Garden City has been speaking out after being banned from a lunch club that, get what, she helped to save. Joy Ashburn was a regular visitor to the sessions run by Age UK at Douglas Tilby House, but she's told she's no longer welcome. Well, Joy joins me now. Good morning, Joy.
Good morning.
How did you help save this club?
I decided to speak up for the client's behalf.
Yeah.
The food was taken away. This is how it all started. And I was asked to speak on behalf of the client.
Who asked you to speak?
The management that was there at the time.
Now, you say the food was taken away.
Yes.
It was that the food that was cooked on site was being taken away and being replaced by Wheels on Meals.
Yes.
No, Meals on Wheels.
Yes, that as well.
That's the way round, isn't it? What's your beef with Meals on Wheels?
It wasn't very pleasant, actually, for elderly people. Let's face it, elderly people need their vitamins, their minerals and everything else. And I don't think Meals on Wheels provides it. I have tasted most of the Meals on Wheels food, and I've got to be honest, it wasn't very edible.
Why were they getting rid of the on-site cooking? I'm assuming it's to save money, was it?
It was to save money. The government cuts, the council cuts, then the council cut the money to Douglas Tilby. Consequently, they couldn't afford to run the kitchens anymore, because the price of the gas, electric and everything else went up.
If they couldn't run the kitchen, Joy, then surely that was their only option. What else could they have done, do you think?
Well, the gentleman that provided the meals had offered to cut the price.
Oh.
So they could have kept the kitchens open.
Would that cut have been enough, though? Would it have saved them enough money?
Would, yes, because it would have been the same price as the Meals on Wheels.
Oh.
Yes.
Have you spoken? What did Age UK say about this offer?
They don't want to talk to me.
Oh, why not, Joy? what have you done?
I think because I'm opening my mouth and I'm saying what the people think, and they don't seem to like it very much. I'm supposed to be this little zombie.
Now, you say you're saying what the people think.
I've done a survey.
I like you, Joy. I don't want to.
I like you too. You're funny.
You're very naughty. Now, Now, it's maybe they weren't objecting to what you were saying, but the way that you said it.
It probably was. Because I can't sit by and watch elderly people walked all over. It's not fair to them. They need to be. They need the dignity. And the way that they do things without telling them or even asking them is not very dignified, is it?
Did you swear, Joy?
I don't swear. I go to church. I'm part and parcel of a church.
I know Christians that swear. Oh, they've got some of the worst language.
But I don't.
The Age UK said that you've been intimidating staff.
Yes, that's a nice word, isn't it? Do they know the meaning of it? I looked it up.
Have you been in any way intimidating?
No,
I feel it
haven't.
now.
No, definitely not.
You do sound quite feisty. Would that be fair?
Feisty I may be, but I'm not intimidating. I've been in the care sector for nearly 30 years, and I don't think I've ever intimidated anybody in my life.
I would hate to get on the wrong side of you, Joy. I can tell you that because you've got a tone in your voice that kind of says, "Do not cross a line with me."
Oh well, I might have a tone, but it's not a nasty one.
How has this left you feeling, Joy? You've been booted out. You told you can't go back to a club that you were part of.
Very lonely. I feel that I've been used. I've been victimised, and now I sit in my house. I have nowhere to go except to my church.
And how often do you go to the church?
I go once a week on a Sunday and once a month on a Saturday for the meal.
Okay. Oh, nice.
It's very nice, actually.
What food do they serve on once a month at the church?
It's beautiful.
Yeah?
It's all home-cooked food.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's all home-cooked food.
Is there not another club you can join, Joy? No, is there nowhere else you can go?
Hatfield, I think, is the nearest one.
Right.
And that's a journey. I am a disabled person. And I just find the travelling too much.
Yeah. So what are you going to do then, Joy? You can't just sit at home on your own.
I'm at home at the moment. I have a wonderful neighbour who helps me quite a lot. The people from the church, they're lovely. They all make sure that I'm okay. In fact, last year, when I came out of hospital at Christmas, they even delivered my Christmas meal for me.
Oh, there you go.
They're absolutely beautiful people. But
you're sure, Joy? You're absolutely sure you've not been aggressive or threatening to any of the
haven't,
staff?
And I want them to prove that I have. And they haven't as yet. They won't even talk to me.
Well, Joy, I appreciate you coming on this morning and telling us your story.
Darling, that's my pleasure, as long as it helps the people that are there.
And it's I certainly would not want to cross you, Joy. Nice to talk to you. Have a good day, love. Take
And
care.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There we go. That's Joy Ashburn. Your thoughts, please. We did invite Age UK Hertfordshire on the programme, but they said there's nothing that could be aired in public which would help the situation. Chief Executive Marion Birch confirmed it had asked Joy Ashburn not to attend Douglas Tilby House. She said Age UK Hertfordshire has contact with 4,000 older people a week and looks after most of them very well. It's a shame, Catherine, that Age UK haven't come on, because they've obviously got their reasons. But we don't know what their reasons are. We've only got one side of the story.
And also, we've spoken to Marion Birch in the past. She's usually a very helpful
She's brilliant.
sort of person.
Oh, Marion's brilliant. And Age UK, they are a brilliant organisation. They do some cracking stuff. I'm just left scratching my head a little bit over this. I kind of have to think there's more to it.
Yeah.
But only having Joy's side of the story, then that's sort of what I have to go by,
It's
really.
a shame, isn't it?
It is a shame. Kev's on the line. Morning, Kev.
Morning, Ian. Scratching your head.
Ever shared a lift with anybody?
What, famous?
No, just anybody.
What, like Paul Weller?
Did you share a lift with Paul Weller?
Yeah.
Really? You're so nonchalant about it.
Well, I'm a taxi driver.
Right.
Well, so I had Paul Weller in the back of my cab.
But did you share a lift with him? I mean, there's an elevator lift.
No, not an elevator
She
lift.
gave-
I was
you gave
driving
him a
car.
lift.
You gave him a lift. We'll take that one. What was he like, Kev? Tiny, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. He was wearing his mohair coat that I think he still had from the 80s.
Yeah.
But, no, he was all right. I didn't really recognise him.
No.
He was a little bit too old.
Yeah, he does look very leathery, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Very leathery.
I mean,
Anyway, Kev, you've not called in about Paul Weller or the Style Council. What have you called in for?
Yeah, you plum. Why are you telling everyone to turn the clocks forward? Put the clocks forward.
Because spring back, fall forwards. Everyone knows that.
What? Spring forward, fall backwards.
How can you fall? Who's ever fallen backwards in their life? That doesn't make any sense.
What, you haven't when you've been at a bar drinking?
I don't drink, Kev. That's partly why, because I kept falling forwards all the time.
Really?
Bash my nose.
No, you fall backwards.
Yeah.
The clocks go back.
Okay, so we lose...
It's like a share moment. When we go back in time.
So we lose
or
an
a
hour?
Spice Girls moment. No, when two becomes one.
Sorry.
We don't really lose an hour.
What are you talking about? Spice Girls. You know what that song's about, don't you?
What?
Put it on, put it on. Not the jacket. It's the swimsuit. So the clocks go forward this weekend. We lose an hour. Oh, thank you very much, Kev. You won't get one past me, though, mate.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the A1M, looking very heavy on the sensors heading southbound, just around Junction 8 for Stevenage North. The A414, it's building up a little bit around the Park Street roundabout. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, it's very heavy moving between Junction 21 for the M1 and Junction 20 at Kings Langley. The M25 heading anti-clockwise, there's one lane closed at the moment between Junction 16 for the M40 and Junction 15 for the M4. It's following an earlier vehicle fire that's happened there. There's no reported problems on the trains, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport, so do check before travelling. It's all due to some industrial action that's taking place. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July from a lack of insulin after his job seekers allowance was suspended. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but says she feels she's been victimised for speaking up.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat the Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick but ended up in goal after Hugo Lloris was sent off. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. Tomorrow, second-place Watford go to third-place Middlesbrough in the Championship. Alman Abdi is ruled out and there's a doubt over on-loan Sebastian Bassong as Slavisa Jokanovic prepares for his third game in charge.
We are 1 week team all together. And we are trying to explain what we exactly want. We start one process and soon I expect we will play better what we played last game.
In League One, Milton Keynes Dons go to Doncaster and will check on the fitness of Carl McFadzean and Dean Bowditch. League Two leaders Wickham are at home to Dagenham. Third place Luton, just a point behind the leaders, could welcome back Alex Lawless at home to Northampton, with John Still's side hoping to make it 7 wins in a row.
We're capable of those magic moments. And I think that, we have to make those magic moments tell, and at the moment we are. And I think that, as season goes, I think the magic moments might last for longer spells, but sometimes they haven't got to last long. I think 2 goals in, 3 minutes the other night? And we do have that capability.
And Stevenage hosts second-place Burton, whose manager Gary Rowett looks set to leave for Birmingham. Here's the Borough boss, Graham Westley.
Whether he goes or whether he doesn't, they're at Burton and their futures, their careers are going to be defined by what goes on at Burton. So I'm sure the players they're professional enough to be where they are in the league right now. I'm sure they'll be professional enough to keep their mind focused on the job, irrespective of what the manager does or doesn't do.
And in tennis, Andy Murray will play South Africa's Kevin Anderson in the quarter-finals of the Valencia Open today as he continues his bid to qualify for the season-ending World Tour finals in London. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Whoa, yeah! Boily!
That's nice. You've thrown out lots of questions today.
Let's have a little recap of what the questions are, because there'll be some latecomers to the show.
Have you ever had anything sharp stuck in you?
Steady. That's after the dog got a bolt through its head. There's always a dog getting a bolt through its head or a swan getting a bolt through its neck and living and surviving to tell the tale. Oh, my phone is... I do apologise. So we'll talk about that. What have you had stuck in you?
And also, who have you shared a lift with?
Yes, doesn't have to be anyone famous.
And also, what have you been chucked out of?
And how much does your haircut cost?
Oh, yeah, that one as well.
08459 455 555.
Let's start with a sharp object, shall we?
Yeah, go on.
On the text, good morning. Regard sharp objects. I had a 10-inch knife plunged into my stomach and piercing my large and small intestines when attacked on my way home many years ago. Odd thing was that small 1.5-inch cut to my shoulder hurt the most. I felt a bit leaky for a while, but I'm good now.
Ladies and gentlemen...
That's Graham.
Thanks for listening. Bye. We might as well just switch the radio off until JVS comes on.
Well, hang on. He's given us more.
I felt a bit leaky.
Graham of Bedford says haircut for him, £10.50.
Oh, OK.
So he threw that in at the end.
That's the cheapest so far. He'd been stabbed in the gut and the shoulder. He felt a bit leaky. Wonderful. When have you felt a bit leaky? 08459 455
Don't want my story about that. I've had a dart thrown through the top of my foot. My nephew was pretending to throw it at my foot, but actually let it go. That's
beautiful.
Martin in Limbury.
I have done the thing with a stapler where I thought I was firing blanks and actually got a staple right through my thumb. So it's
through your what?
My thumb. My thumb boy 3. My thumb. And I had to unpluck it. It had curled round and everything.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Rebecca said, I shared a lift with Paul Burrell in New York.
Oh, the butler that was given all that stuff by Princess Diana.
And had to hide it. In the Empire State Building. He was, surprise, surprise, telling the Americans, also in the lift, about...
Princess Diana!
Yes.
Imagine
Tell you what,
that.
though, he's got him a nice little earner, hasn't it?
He's done all right out
in
of
America.
It. Yeah, he's done all right out of
it. I don't really watch that Jungle programme, but my favourite moment was seeing him... and his legs melting when he did you see that one where he put his arm in a hole in the tree, a bit like in Flash Gordon?
Yeah, there was Peter Duncan in Flash Gordon,
yes,
wasn't it? Yeah,
there was some creepy crawlies in there, and he was doing this. Like his bones were melting.
Yeah, what you were doing there, that was the Alvin Stardust. You were doing a Shane Fenton. By the way, how are kids going to know how to cross the road now that Shane Fenton has passed?
What was his approach?
I don't understand the question.
He called them dum-dums or something, didn't he? Hey
dum-dums. That's not... He had the finger pointing. Hey, dum-dums, that's not how you cross the road.
With one glove on. Was it two?
It was one glove, finger pointing. You got to do it like this, dum-dums.
Sarah in Luton says, I was thrown out of the brownies. Oh.
Yeah. What have you been booted out
She
of?
was thrown out of the brownies because she kicked the toadstool over and called Brown Owl a cow.
Yeah, good for you.
She
I
didn't
love
get any
that.
badges either.
Yeah, signs of rebellion in organisations, brownies, Cubs, businesses. 08459
I've just
455
remembered.
555.
Me and my friend were asked not to come back to the Bedfordshire Youth Choir.
Wow.
We were out of our depth, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, we were used to singing songs about, I don't know, robins and Christmas trees.
Yeah.
And we were doing Nebuchadnezzar's Feast or something.
Oh, for goodness
Something we
sakes.
found hilarious.
Yeah, of course.
And we couldn't keep it in.
Yeah.
So they chucked us out.
Okay. When have you been? When have you ever sung religious songs? 08459 455 555. These are all goers.
Well, the thing was, it didn't help matters that, the first line of it, it's from the Psalms, right? But it's also what Boney M used for the rivers of Babylon. So it started off with, by the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down. From there on, we couldn't sing.
You can't expect young people, particularly in the early 70s, to sing something like that without...
It was the late 80s.
Boney M. What does that name mean?
I don't know.
What? Who's Boney? What's the M?
Why can't we know their identity?
Exactly. They were German, weren't they?
One was. I think the women were interchangeable.
Yeah, you never. If you saw Boney M in concert, you certainly weren't seeing the original Boney or the M.
Which reminds me of a fantastic documentary I watched last night.
Oh yeah,
20 feet.
The Boney M story
from Stardom or something. It's called.
Yeah.
But it was talking a lot about Phil Spector, and Darlene Love was in it.
There's a nut job. Phil Spector, not Darlene.
Not Darlene Love. She was nice, but she kept saying that. He kept swapping their voices around. So a lot of the women that you'd see singing their songs, the Crystals, for example, were just miming Darlene Love songs, and it would drive her absolutely crackers. Yep. And they were just used, really, like, whatever, just sing it and get on with it. She was 18.
Are there any more nut jobs in pop? You had, when I say nut jobs, I'm of course referring to...
Eccentrics.
Yeah, Brian Wilson... Brian Wilson had a sandpit in his living room.
But a lot of that was brought on by excessive drug use.
Yeah, well, that sped things up, I think, for Brian. He had a sandpit in his bedroom in his living room that he put the piano in, and he'd sit there barefoot and write songs. Great idea for the first week until his dog started doing whoopsies in it, and he didn't clean it out. So you got that. You got Phil Spector, who would wave a gun around willy nilly, and until eventually it caught up with him. We didn't catch up with him. Caught up with a woman called Lana. I can't remember her last name. There are no nut jobs in pop anymore. 08459 455 555. Nut jobs in pop. Give us a call now. Lila's on the line.
Hello, Ian.
Good morning, Lila.
Good morning. I just want to confirm that you said to put the clocks forward today.
No. You've misunderstood me.
Ah, sorry.
Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Forward.
Yeah, why not?
But I bought a paper yesterday and it said you do it backwards.
What? Well, you can do it backwards if you want. What paper was it in?
The Sun.
Yeah. Really? Why'd you buy... You sound like an intelligent woman. Why'd you buy the Sun?
I didn't buy it. It was given to me.
Who gave you the Sun?
A friend of mine, a pensioner. Friend of mine.
Well, that's nice. Do you know the Sun is read by more people who given it free, like you were, than actually buy it? Isn't that insane?
Yeah, but is it forward or backward?
Hang on a minute, Catherine.
Where's your Ev?
It's a fact. The Sun has a circulation of about 1.2 million, but it's read by something like 4 million people. That's a fact. That's a fun Sun fact, Lila.
So, do I put my clock forward or backwards?
What would you like to do with it?
Backwards.
Well, then, if you want to do that, do you know how to set the clock on your cooker?
No.
No one does, do they?
I do.
No.
You know how to set the clock on Lila's cooker?
Yeah.
Pop round and do it for her.
I will, but I can't do my car. So I'll just have to do maths.
I forget how to do the car, and I'm always resetting the mileage, which annoys the hell out of me. Lila, I hope that's cleared things up for you, my love.
What?
Thank you very much. 08459 455 5... Oh, Lila! Oh, she's gone. OK. Paul's in Hatfield. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Ian. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Now, we're trying to find the cheapest and the most expensive haircuts. We've had £10.50. What's yours?
I've got $7.50. It's a place called Ribera in Hoddesdon. A lady called Josie. She's been cutting my hair for about 20, 25
God,
years.
you think she'd have finished by now. Is it £7.50? Is it any good?
Well, you'd have to be the judge of that. But, I wouldn't keep going back if it wasn't. She's never done a bad one. You get a cup of coffee as well.
Right, cup of coffee. But what's your haircut? Is it a tuppenny all off, or are you short back and sides?
I try and change it every time I go in there, but it always ends up looking the same.
It does, doesn't it? It always ends up looking the same. You leave the salon and you go, oh, I've got a nice new haircut. By the time you get home, it's what you had a week ago. It's terrifying.
I went to Tony and Guy's once, but that was a bit too expensive and the coffee was cold. You get decent coffee at where I go now.
How much was the Tony and Guy's? About 30 quid?
It was more, I think it was about 40 quid.
Oh, blimey.
Like that.
I paid $29 for my haircut, and I get very anxious. I went and saw a fella called Joe for a long, long time. Then I moved away from there, and I found a young lady called Vanessa, and now Vanessa's left. So I've got another hairdresser. I get so anxious, Paul, when I change hairdressers.
That is the problem. If you find a good one, then you want to keep them, and I do take it a bit personally. My one used to work in Waltham Cross. I went there for years. Then she moved to work with her husband in their own salon in Hoddesdon, so I followed her there. So you might have to follow your one. Don't stalk her, just follow her.
Well, she's gone to work in a primary school. It'd be pretty weird if I rocked up at 11:30.
Vanessa, what do you look like in shorts, you know?
Well, I look quite cute, Paul. I look very, very cute, so I'll have you know. Vanessa, so I know you're doing a bit of reading with the kids. Could you just give us a bit of a trim while you're there?
It's bad when they leave you, but have you ever been in a situation where you've had to break up with a hairdresser?
Oh, where you've decided not to go back?
Yeah, I've done that.
Really?
Yeah, and you can't go back to the same salon again.
No.
They'll rumble you.
No.
I broke up with mine. I realised she was just taking the mick. She was just doing the same thing.
What?
Well, I had long hair.
Yeah.
And she was just playing.
Terry's in Luton. Terry, can you beat £7.50?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Oh, go on. What you got?
Yeah, Berry Park. My partner goes to Berry Park, and don't ask me which barber it is, but they charge a £5.
A £5?
A £5, yeah.
Come on, he's got to come back looking like a dog's been at him.
No, they do a brilliant cut.
Now, listen, I'm going to ask some questions, right?
Yeah.
Is he bald, and is it just like one of those little shaves around the side? Because anyone could do that.
You mean the Phil Collins?
No, he's not bald. No, he's not bald. No, they do a lovely job, and it's a £5. Yeah, guaranteed.
Well, now, hang on a minute. Why are you not going there, Terry? How much is your haircut?
Well, because I've always gone to the same barber, and I would hate to leave him, and he always does a great job.
How much is your nut cut?
Oh, £8.
Oh, you fellas, you must be loaded now. You got all that cash. Terry, thank you very much indeed. It was quite pricey, you're right, the £8 haircut. Can we beat £5 haircut? That is rock bottom prices.
The thing is, when you get below a tenner, you can't moan.
No.
Because you're getting a bargain.
What are you going to get for a £5, really? There you go, that's done, mate. Oh, dear. That's done. Wendy's on the line. Morning, Wendy.
Good morning.
What have you got for us?
Talking about having things stuck in you.
Oh,
I
be careful.
Yeah, I know. I got out my car and I stood on a plank of wood with a 6-inch nail.
Oh! We're all feeling that, Wendy.
Oh, no,
we've all winced and moved away from the microphone.
Yeah.
Flipping heck!
Yeah.
What part of your foot did it go through?
The middle bit.
Oh,
I stood at the car and somebody had put this plank of wood, whether it was kids or I don't know, and I trod on it.
And I think I know the answer to this question, but it'll be remiss of me not to ask. What did it feel like?
Well, I did. At first, I didn't realise what I'd done until I went to move.
And then you had a 6-foot bit of wood stuck to you?
Yeah, the nail, with a bit of wood.
And was the wood moving around with you when you walked?
Well, yeah, because I sat back down in the car and phoned my husband, and he came out. It was in our driveway.
Was it his fault?
And he came out and...
Did he have to do a thing where he put a foot on your shoulder, like you're taking off your weight, put a foot on your shoulder and pulled?
No, I just wanted him to pull it out. He said, yeah, but you should go to the hospital, so we did. But he did pull it out.
OK. Was it his fault that bit of wood with the nail was there?
No, because it wasn't there when I went to work.
Yeah. And is everything all right now, Wend?
It's fine, and my name's Wendy.
Yeah, don't get familiar.
Thank you, Wendy. 08459 455 555. Well, there you go. Ever had something stuck in you?
Mark in Bedford. I had a car accident in my old Ford Fiesta hitting a tree. The gear stick went through one knee and into another.
Oh!
Popping my kneecap off in the process.
Ay!
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading southbound, 2 lanes are closed at the moment following an accident at junction 11 for Dunstable Road, so it's looking very slow on camera at the moment. In Luton, very heavy moving on Airport Way, just at junction 10A for the M1 around the Kidneywood roundabout. The M25 heading anti-clockwise is looking very slow, just at junction 24 for Potters Bar. And taking a look so far at the trains, everything is running well, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport due to some industrial action, so do check before travelling. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much. I'll be honest, I'm loving these phone-ins. I knew we wouldn't get many calls, but ever had something sharp stuck in you? Oh, ho, ho. Thank you so much, Wendy. Wowzers. 7:46, Friday, the 24th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up. Coming up, more of your calls. Before that, let's get the weather. Here's Georgina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hello there. Quite a mild start to the day, but fairly cloudy and wet. Lots of rain around in varying degrees. So we've got mainly light drizzly stuff, but also this afternoon when it turns showery, it could become a little heavier. We may even hear some thunder. And we've got temperatures up to about 16 degrees Celsius, but a slight southwesterly breeze. And tonight we see the back of the rain before midnight and then long clear intervals, so quite chilly with a bit of mist and fog developing and lows of 7 degrees. So a cool start to tomorrow. That mist may take its time to clear, but then we should be left with a largely dry day with plenty of sunny spells and lighter winds too, with highs of 14 degrees Celsius. And on Sunday it's also looking quite bright and mostly dry as well. And next week we've got high pressure building, so although we should have some chilly nights, we've got warm air coming up from the Atlantic, so fairly mild days. That's your latest forecast.
We'll be finding out just what's wrong with Fanny after this.
Tomorrow afternoon, live football is the order of the day. We'll start with hearing how the managers are thinking.
Both going into it in good form, so we know how difficult the afternoon's going to be.
I want the individuals to flourish. I want the individuals to get better.
Then move on to live commentary of Watford, Luton, MK Dons and Stevenage.
Onto his right foot, goes for the far corner and scores! Great strike, and Watford take the lead here!
Straight into the bum of Freeman, and it's a gift that Stevenage have the lead!
Rounding off the day, there's your views and all the reaction after the final whistles.
He seems bulletproof to me, but football-wise, he's deluded and clueless.
Three Counties Sport, tomorrow from 2, here on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Oh, man alive. Catherine, I feel we have to keep setting up the stall again because so many of these coconuts are being knocked off the shy. What are we talking about?
What now?
Well, we'll get to Justin wants to talk about Fanny in a minute. We'll get there in a second. Before that,
we're talking about what you've been chucked out of, what you've had stuck in you, and who you shared a lift with, and your cheapest haircut.
Okay. Well, Ben, which one of those do you fancy?
I could talk about the haircuts and what I got chucked out of.
Let's start with the haircut. How much you pay for your nut cut, Ben?
£12.
Hey, that's quite pricey compared to some of them.
Yep.
How often do you get it done? I get mine done pretty much once every 4 weeks or once a month. How often do you get yours done?
Once a month because I've it all shaved off.
What you get it all shaved off?
Yep.
What are you paying £12 for that for?
Get yourself some clippers.
I'll do it.
Yep.
Steady.
Come to me once a month, I'll do it with a knife and fork.
Ben can't believe his luck here. He's loving this. He's over the moon. But Ben, seriously, you could get your nut cut shave.
Yeah.
You could get that for £5.
Yeah.
Yeah? Not interested? You like your hairdresser?
Yeah.
Yeah? OK. Now, you got kicked out of something.
The local pub.
Uh-oh, what were you doing? You weren't dealing speed, were you, Ben?
No.
You weren't being aggressively violent, were you, Ben?
No.
What were you doing then, Ben?
As I told the DJ that I didn't like his music and they chucked me out.
Ben.
What was he playing?
It was playing like old stuff from the 70s and 80s and some modern pop music.
You mean crowd pleasers?
Yeah.
What music do you like, Ben?
Like drum and bass and metal music.
Sounds like you're in the wrong place.
Ben,
Yeah.
so hang on a minute. So this fella's playing like a bit of My Cuckoo and Come On Eileen, and you go up to him and say, listen, where's Slayer? We want something a little bit harder than this.
Yeah.
And he was having none of it.
No.
And when you say you told him you didn't like it, because there's going up to someone and say, all right, mate, I'm not that mad on the music you're playing.
Got any Slayer?
Yeah, there's that way of doing it. Or that wouldn't necessarily get you chucked out, though, would it?
No, because I think my partner said I was a bit drunk and used a few expletives.
There we go, you see. And so what did he say you said, your partner?
I can't remember exactly, but they didn't like it and chucked me out.
Oh, blimey. Yeah. Are you allowed back in? Are you and your fella, are you allowed back in that pub now?
Yep.
Well, that's great news, Ben.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
There we go, you
My
see.
friend once requested drum and bass. To say, have you got any drum and bass? And the DJ went, who's he?
Tinchy Strider's done a record with the Chuckle Brothers. Have you seen this?
Yes.
What's that all about? It's probably for charity.
I'm hoping so.
It's got to be, because I met Tinchy when he was on his way up, and it seemed like a very enthusiastic, energetic young man who was keen on breaking boundaries, and, boy, he's broken a boundary there, the rubbish boundary, which I break every single morning.
I think I know what the lyrics might be.
Go on.
To me.
Can we find it? Can we get it?
Yeah,
We'll
he
have it.
might have grown up watching them and thinking, I'm going to make a tune with them one day.
I'm going to make a tune with it. You don't invite those idiots into the studio. They create mayhem. One of my favourites, we'll get to this thing in a minute. There was a really, really funny line in the Chuckle Brothers show once, right? It was a really funny line. There was. They were stewards on an aeroplane, right? And I don't know what they did. They muffed up completely and they knocked out. You probably can do this now post 9/11. They knocked out the pilot and the co-pilot. So no one's flying the plane, right? So the Chuckle Brothers, they don't want to create panic, so they go out to the back to the passengers. It's so fun. I think this is a great gag. They go to the passengers. They say, right, we don't want to panic anybody, but is there anybody that can fly a plane? Silence. Is there anybody that's flown a glider? Silence. Anybody ever used a kite? That's a great line, isn't it? Do you not think?
Yeah.
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Here we go. Fans of the Buckinghamshire children's author Enid Blyton. Blyton. Apologies. Let's start that again. Fans of the Buckinghamshire children's author Enid Blyton are hoping that news of a film deal could do for her what Harry Potter did for J.K. Rowling. The Magic Faraway Tree series is set to be developed for a live-action film by the Neal Street Productions, owned by director Sam Mendes. However, like many of Blyton's works, the four-book series has been edited over time. Characters Dick and Fanny have fallen by the wayside, replaced by Rick and Franny. So what's wrong with Fanny? Justin Deedy has been asking that very question in Barton-le-Clay, the home of our big tour this week.
Nothing's wrong with the name Fanny. My great-grandmother was called Fanny. It's an old English name.
So anybody who's got an issue with Fanny, what would you say to those people?
Get over it. There's nothing wrong with the name.
Debbie, what's wrong with Fanny?
Nothing, but today, there's everything wrong with everything, isn't there? So they always find something wrong with something. Doesn't offend me at all.
It's not politically correct. I think the world's gone mad, personally, and I think that we shouldn't be so wrapped up in it all. We should all just get along and, in America they have fanny packs, don't they? Does that mean that they can't... I don't understand it, really, to be honest.
Very good point, well made. If there was a film out, I've got a funny feeling you'd go and watch it, wouldn't you?
I would, definitely. Of course you would. Of course you would. It takes you back to a bygone era, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
So, a very quick question for you. What's wrong with Fanny?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I read it, Enid Blyton.
Do you think there's anything wrong with Fanny?
No, not really.
And anybody who says that name hasn't got a place in our society nowadays, what would you say to those people?
I don't know. I'm going to Cash Point. Give me a...
Thank you, sir. Liz, good morning. Here we are in Barton, the home of our big tour. Again, you were, like many people here, a massive Enid Blyton fan. Come on, what's wrong with Fanny?
Nothing's wrong with Fanny.
Does it amaze you that that name has been changed already, and if a film comes out, it could be changed again?
It shouldn't be changed. There's nothing wrong with the name at all.
Fanny's Fanny, at the end of the day.
Yes, it is.
Well, Professor David Rudd is a Professor of Children's Literature at the University of Bolton and an expert on Enid Blyton. What's wrong with Fanny, David?
Well, nothing in itself. It's a short name for Francis. Used to be very popular. But obviously it has connotations, very different connotations actually in America, where it refers to your rear, your bottom, and Fanny in this country obviously refers to the front part of a woman. So I think that's the associations that they want to avoid.
By changing these names, we are denying... We're kind of rewriting history, almost literally, aren't we? Because that's how these books were written.
Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time that these characters are being updated. And so I think if certain ones have unfortunate connotations, you need to look at it carefully. I mean, one of Enid Blyton's favourite words is, well, there's two, in fact. There's one that's gay, people were gay, and queer is an incredibly common word in her books. They have very different associations again, but for modern people, young children, they might pick up on the wrong associations. So I think these things need looking at and perhaps, updating.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because people do accept, Enid Blyton. If someone were to let's reword Chaucer, because Chaucer's filthy. If we were to reword Chaucer or rewrite Shakespeare, there'd be an uproar, wouldn't there?
Yeah, there seems to be a real distinction between classics and popular culture. Classics, yes, they stay as they are, but popular culture, can change and does change with the times, which is why it remains popular. I mean, the Grimm's fairy tales, if you look at them, they rewrote their own ones throughout. Rapunzel in the first one, she's pregnant, which is why the witch finds out she's been visited. They got rid of that. So, it is a process that regularly occurs.
Is it true, David, as well, that Sleeping Beauty, she wasn't kissed awake?
Well, she is in lots of versions. Maybe you know another one I don't know about.
Oh, you see. And how cool is it being an expert on Enid Blyton? That's a wonderful thing to be an expert on.
It's very strange. It started in the 1990s when I did a PhD on it, actually, and I was the laughing stock, nodding his way to a PhD, and people came around and interviewed me, and have you got a dog called Noddy? Timmy, can you wear a Noddy hat for the interview? They wouldn't do that if you were an adult and sort of dress up as Shakespeare. And I was, a bit of the laughing stock, but over time I found it's changed, and now people are quite respectful of Blyton. There's been a shift.
No, good for you. And very quickly, do we know anything about this film? Do we know if it's going to be faithful to the story, or have anything been leaked?
I don't know anything. I think it'll depart way away from the story, which is a shame. The stories are, I think, some of the best Blyton. It's the one book that's named, I think, in the BBC Top 100, the only named title by Blyton, because generally she's just known for series books. But that one has, very fond memories for people. Quite edgy, quite unusual, quite inventive.
David, I really appreciate your time this morning. Fascinating. We'll get you on again, because I think what a cracking title. Professor of Children's Literature and an expert on Enid Blyton. Absolutely wonderful. David Rudd.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 this morning, 2 lanes are closed at the moment following an accident. It's heading southbound just to junction 11 for Dunstable Road, so looking very slow moving on camera at the moment. In Luton, it's looking heavy at the moment on Airport Way, just at junction 10A for the M1 around the Kidneywood roundabout. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise is queuing between junction 16 for the M40 and junction 15 for the M4. This is following a vehicle fire. No problems or delays to the trains. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. Man, it's a busy show. Where do we go? Ever had something sharp stuck in you? What have you been booted out of? How much does your haircut cost? And we'll play Tinchy Strider and the Chuckle Brothers.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: family of Stevenage man welcome benefits review, woman bailed after Bedfordshire terror arrest, and Hertfordshire pensioner banned from OAP centre.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July from a lack of insulin after his job seekers allowance was suspended. His sister Jill Thompson started an online petition which has been signed by over 200,000 people.
They said they followed procedures, no errors were made.
if people are dying, surely something's wrong with the procedures. My brother's not the only one. I've got a list of people that have died.
The 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. Scotland Yard say the woman, who has not been named, has been bailed until early February, pending further inquiries. Police searched 2 addresses in Bedfordshire, including one in Kempston. Britain has been ordered to pay an extra £1.7 billion towards the European Union budget because its economy has performed better than expected in recent years. Downing Street says the government will challenge the decision. Council leaders want to scrap the ban on parents taking their children on holiday during term time. The Local Government Association says it should be down to head teachers to take a common sense approach on the issue. This week, a Bedfordshire head teacher cancelled her term time holiday after criticism from parents at Elstow School. More from Alex Forsyth.
Until September last year, head teachers could grant up to 10 days leave for family holidays in special circumstances. Now absence from school is only allowed in exceptional circumstances and not for holidays. The Local Government Association said hard-pressed parents either had to pay holiday costs, which could be double those of term time, or risk a £60 fine for taking their child out of school. But 2 teaching unions said missing school could damage a child's education, and the Department for Education said head teachers did still have discretion to grant time off.
Police who conducted taxi checks in Luton last night say over half had to be taken off the road. 31 vehicles were inspected, 18 of which were suspended from working. Police say 3 had what they describe as significant mechanical defects. A pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local centre for older people. Joy Ashburn was barred from Douglas Tilby House in Welwyn Garden City after receiving a letter from Age UK Hertfordshire. She says she was accused of intimidating staff, but feels she's been victimised for speaking up about the meals.
I can't sit by and watch elderly people walked all over. It's not fair to them. They need to be, they need the dignity. And the way that they do things without telling them or even asking them is not very dignified, is it?
In sport, in last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat the Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. The weather, some rain this morning, which will be heavy at times, but clearing this afternoon, a maximum temperature 16 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Hey, Kelly, what's wrong? Are you in a bad mood?
I'm not in a bad mood.
I'm just asking.
BBC 3 Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a super village. It's got all the amenities.
Telling everyone about where you live.
It's a nice atmosphere, people walking the dogs.
In snow, in sunshine, it's beautiful at sunset.
All this week, we're uncovering Barton le Clay.
I wouldn't leave it. If you paid me millions, I still wouldn't leave. I love it here.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Good morning to you. It's Iain Lee, BBC 3 Counties Radio. It's Friday. Busy show this morning, boys and girls. Ladles and jelly spoons. Whoa! I hate people that say that. I hate them as much as I hate jugglers.
I've never heard that before.
You never heard children's entertainers say, hello, ladles and jelly spoons?
No.
You never heard that?
I haven't lived.
Liked that when I was a child.
Well, you're a child. Hello, ladles and jelly spoons.
We didn't have children's entertainers.
You just had a stone that you'd look at.
A stick.
Yeah, that's all. Good morning, ladles and jelly spoons. Busy show. So, we are asking, ever shared a lift with anyone? Doesn't have to be anyone famous. What sharp things have you had stuck in your body? What have you been barred from or kicked out of? How much did your haircut cost? And what's wrong with Fanny? It really is very, very busy. If you want to give us a call, now is a really good time, actually. 08 459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC 3 Counties Radio.
Biggers is in Hemel. Morning, Biggers.
Hello, Iain, me old mucker, me old Charlie, me old mucker.
Oh.
How you doing?
Hello, me old mucker, me old round the cobblers and up the apples and pears, you dirtbox.
I'm all right, fella. How are you?
Yeah, very, very well, thank you.
Always bringing a cheer, mate, ain't you? On everyone's faces.
I like to, yeah.
Right.
Did you ever used to go dirt biking? That was the phrase. Did you ever used to go dirt biking?
No, I never did that, mate. No,
I always
can't get dirty.
It always looked so exciting, wasn't it? You get your bike, your BMX or sometimes a motorbike, and you go around and get into. But I was always a little bit of I was a bit of a coward, to be honest, because.
Oh, was you, mate?
Yeah, I didn't like being hurt.
I'll probably get my little boy into it. He likes all that sort of stuff, mucking around.
You get him doing that. Anyway, you've not called in about that, have you, Biggers?
No. I drive for a living here, and I've just been rubbing my eyes. I couldn't believe what I've just seen.
What?
The first set of Christmas lights outside somebody's house. You know those snowdrops, the blue and the white ones?
Yep.
Hanging down out the front in Bushy.
Good for them.
It's not even November yet, mate.
No, I know, but hang on, what's the date today? Is it the 24th? Well, we're only 2 months away from Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but they'll probably leave them up 2 months after and all, won't they? That's a third of the year gone.
You cannot start Christmas soon enough for me. I love it.
Oh, no, I think that's ridiculous, mate.
I bet you...
4 months.
Well, I bet you... Hang on a minute, let's put this out there. Dear listener, Biggers has seen some Christmas lights outside somebody's house. Is he being a miserable so-and-so by saying bar humbug?
Humbug.
Bar humbug, or do you think it's a good idea? 08459 455 555. Thank you, Biggers. He's gone. He's had enough. Yeah, my first year with Turkey, Kelly Betts. You're absolutely spot on.
Is it?
Well, first year in 26 years with Turkey, yeah.
Are you going to just go for turkey? You're going to have some gammon?
I'm having everything.
Good for you.
Did it have a face? I'll eat it.
Oh.
That's my motto.
What about your children?
If they get on my nerves enough...
Which they will.
Then, yeah.
I've met them.
Tell me really about my kids.
What?
08459 455 555. Fantastic. The first Christmas lights are up. How wonderful is that?
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now's a good time to give us a call. The family of a Stevenage man who died after his benefits were cut are welcoming plans to review the system. 59-year-old diabetic David Clapson died through lack of insulin in July. He couldn't afford to run his fridge to keep his medication cool, and he hadn't been eating properly. His benefits had been cut just 18 days previously. Well, MPs will now look into the rights and wrongs of the welfare system. That's going to happen next year, something the Labour leader of Stevenage Borough Council, Sharon Taylor, has been calling for some time. Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Ian.
Why have you been calling for this? What do you think is wrong?
Well, first of all, can I pay a huge tribute to Jill Thompson, who's David's sister, who, you know, in spite of the very tragic circumstances her family faced, has worked tirelessly to get to where we are today, with MPs committing to do an inquiry on this through the Select Committee for Department for Work and Pensions. I think it's really important it's not just David, and Jill is very determined to make sure no other family goes through what they've been through. We've heard loads and loads of stories as Jill's petition's been up online, and she's had 211,000 signatures on her petition of other families that they've lost loved ones because of this wicked sanctions regime.
Well, what do you think is the problem? Where is it going wrong, in your opinion?
Well, what happened with David was that the vulnerability that he had was not picked up. David was an ex-serving soldier. He'd worked for 16 years for BT. He'd cared for his mother when she had Alzheimer's for 7 years. And yet he had his own vulnerabilities, and they weren't picked up. He was diabetic, and he was somebody who needed to be supported. He'd paid into the system, and, I like to think that the way our system works is if you pay into it when you're in need, that system will help you out. But nobody picked up how vulnerable David was.
Is it the responsibility of... Because he was reluctant to ask for help, and maybe if he'd made more noise... I'm just, being hypothetical. If he'd made more noise, then the system might have kicked into gear. Who is it really, the people at the job centre and like that, to notice that someone is perhaps more vulnerable than someone else?
Well, when someone has a known medical need, and they did know about David's diabetes, surely you don't leave someone with that known medical need when you know that taking benefits away from that person, meaning they can't either buy food, which you need to eat regularly if you're diabetic, or keep your insulin cool, that just shouldn't have happened. And, one of the things that Jill always says is they said all their processes were followed, but her brother died. you know, it's all very well having processes you follow. If someone dies at the end of it, the processes aren't right, are they? So I think I welcome this inquiry. I think, and I'd like to thank Debbie Abrahams, the MP for Oldham and Saddleworth, who has worked through the Department of Work and Pensions to bring the inquiry in. I just think we need a good look at this to make sure that the sanctions regime isn't leaving vulnerable people with no means of support.
The government don't want an inquiry. They're not. Is it going to be toothless, Sharon? Do you think? Will it have any impact?
Well, no, because the Select Committee is part of the parliamentary process, and I hope they'll have a real good, close look at this, and they'll be able to make some recommendations through to government around how the benefit system the sanction system is operated, and I hope they will do that, and I hope the government will take notice of it.
Sharon,
they shouldn't ignore it when 200,000 people have signed a petition, should they?
Sharon, I appreciate your time. That's the Labour leader of Stevenage Borough Council, Sharon Taylor.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Look at you. Look at Boiling, juggling headphones. Have we got any texts or anything that we need to...
Yeah, we've got loads.
Let's have some texts.
We've got loads.
Very busy on the phones, by the way.
Loads.
Thank you for calling. We'll get to those in a minute.
As a kid, we were prattling... This is from Nikki in Milton Keynes. This is about things you've had... This is supposed to be things you've had stuck in you. This appears to be things you've had land on you.
Oh, we'll have that.
As a kid, we were prattling around with a broken metal mop handle and a washing line.
Yeah,
Always a good idea. What goes up must come down, and it did hit me straight in the head.
It's not the phone in, but we'll have it. We'll have it. I used to talk about things stuck in you. You know the compasses that you could draw circles with?
Yeah.
What's wrong?
Yeah, I did that to a boy at school once.
Well, I would put it in the fleshy bit of the hand and lift it up like that. Because it don't hurt. You've got no feeling there. You've got very little feeling there. So you'd stick this rusty bit of metal through the skin and lift it up and then go up to girls and go, ooh.
Are they still allowed to use math sets at school? Because that was what the compass was used for carving your initials in the desk.
That is an excellent, excellent question. Can we find out, mums and dads, boys and girls, ladles and jelly spoons, would you welcome to the stage the magnificent Marco?
I don't think we ever used the set square. Protractor, yes, set square. And then there was a thinner one. What was that?
The protractor was the one that was like a duh.
Yeah.
I used to pretend they were the laser guns from Space 1999.
Yes.
Mums and dads, boys and girls, ladies and jelly spoons, will you please welcome to the stage the magnificent Marco? No.
What's that?
That's the stick, the wheel stick to measure the roads.
That wasn't in your math set, unless you had a really big one.
Yeah, you plum. Our boys and girls, ladles and jelly spoons, would you please welcome to the stage magnificent Marco? No, do they still take compasses into school?
Because they're pointy.
I bet they're probably not allowed to, because you could have someone's eye out with that.
You could.
Did anyone ever have anyone's eye out with something? 08459 455 555.
That warning always came when you had your umbrella, didn't it? Careful.
Did anybody... OK, this is a great question. So, are kids allowed to take compasses into school? Did anybody ever have anybody's eye out with anything? And did anybody ever get a lollipop stick stuck in their mouth?
Oh, you mean...
Yeah. Don't walk with that. It'll get stuck in your back of your throat if you fall over. Did that happen to anybody? 08459 455 555. Pam's on the line. Morning, Pam.
Good morning, Iain.
Good morning, Mrs. Pam. What have you got for us?
Well, let me tell you this.
Yes.
Christmas is not coming.
What?
Christmas is not coming. It's right now, it's Diwali.
Good, but Pam, could you say that again?
Well, Christmas has not come too soon, let's put it like that.
OK, it's Diwali now.
It's Diwali, and our Asian, we should say our Muslim friends light up the place like Christmas.
My little boy has learnt all about Diwali, and he was telling me about it while he was in the bath the other night, and it was fantastic. He knew all the goddesses' names, he knew everything that was going on.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So, but these lights that a caller has seen some what he thought were Christmas lights outside someone's house. You're thinking they might be Diwali lights?
Well, I know they are. I've got three Muslim neighbours, and they've all got these lovely lights outside.
I don't think it's a Muslim thing, is it?
Well, it's Hindu, actually, isn't it?
It's the Sikhs, isn't it?
Yeah, Hindu, yes. Yes. And anyway, they've all got three of them here.
Yeah.
And they've had lights out. When I got up this morning and it was dark, I thought it was Christmas.
Yeah, well...
It was lovely.
Do you get excited about Christmas, Pam?
Well, I'm Jewish.
Oh. You can still get excited about Christmas, can't you?
I do enjoy it.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it.
Because you're not Sikh and you're enjoying a bit of Diwali.
That's That's right. Why not?
Listen, all these people say, "Oh, well, I don't want all these different religions." I'll have as many religious festivals. Is there food? Is there food?
Yes.
Then I'll have it. I'll bring on Diwali. I'll have it. If there's food, I'm in.
That's right.
Thank you very much indeed for reminding us. Of course, it's Diwali. All these plums that say, "Oh, I don't want all these foreign religious festivals over." Is there food? Yeah, I'll have it. I'll have it. Love it. 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, there's a lane closed following an accident. At junction 11 for Dunstable Road, it is looking rather slow now to junction 12 at Flitwick at the moment. In Luton, very heavy moving on Airport Way, just at junction 10A for the Kidneywood roundabout. And in Watford, the A41 Northwestern Avenue is looking very slow on the sensors at the moment, just at the Dome roundabout. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise is queuing following an earlier vehicle fire between junction 16, the M40, and junction 15 for the M4. Clockwise on the M25, rather heavy between junction 14 at Horton Road and junction 16 for the M40. And disruptions to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport, so do check before travelling. It's all due to some industrial action that's taking place. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed. Has anybody ever had somebody's eye out with something ever? Scott has tweeted, eye out. Chris's mate held a dartboard. Oh, listen to this, Kath. Chris's mate held a dartboard with the bullseye popped out up to his eye.
Why?
And invited people to throw darts. Bosh! Has anybody ever had anybody's eye out with anything? 08459 455 555. Ah, man. 8:17, it's Friday the 24th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And a pensioner from Hertfordshire has been banned from attending her local OAP centre. Joy Ashburn was accused of intimidating staff, but she feels she's been victimised for speaking up.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Bernard-Smith. I was just copying your homework.
Well, yeah, you're having a little look, weren't you, what I'm doing? You wanted a sneaky preview.
You've got a dog's hair on you.
No, that's the cat.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I've got a white cat and a black dog.
Oh, look at Ebony and Ivory. It's like Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, we're very racially integrated in my house. But...
Which do you prefer? Which causes the most trouble?
What?
If you had to get rid of one, which would it be?
Oh, don't ask me that. I love them both
in
equal measure. But it does mean that I can't wear any clothes now.
What?
Well, because...
Please finish that sentence.
Because if I wear dark clothes, then obviously the dog hair doesn't show up on it. But if I wear, my cream action slacks, then the dog hair now shows up on that.
So
it's a disaster.
You're walking around your house naked? So you don't get hairs on you?
Yeah, I try to, yeah.
Gosh, what an image for a Friday. What's on your show this morning?
Well, I'm very opinionated about this. I don't know whether you are. You've got such funny views on the winter.
Sorry?
I'm coming up on this morning's big phone.
Funny views on the winter.
You've got these funny views.
I like the winter, yeah.
I know you do. You're the only person in the world who likes the cold and rain.
It was so dark this morning at 7 o'clock. Wonderful.
I knew this was something you and I would not agree on. Coming up on the big phone in this morning at 9, is it time we stopped changing the clocks in this country? It's the Times front page today. Researchers say Britain should keep its clocks an hour ahead all year round, in line with the rest of Europe. Experts at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine say adopting Central European time would give us lighter evenings and make everyone more healthy. Controlled tests have shown that children's total daily activity levels are 15 to 20% higher on summer days when the sun sets after 9 p.m. compared to winter when it's very often dark before 5 o'clock.
That's because it's warmer.
A bill on shifting the clocks forward was debated in Parliament between 2010 and 2012, but it never received enough support to become law. Well, I am very, very passionate about this. I hate it when we have to put the clocks back, which we will have to do this weekend. I despise it because this time next week we will be plunged into darkness early in the afternoon. The day is tiny, the day is short. Everyone feels they have to be at home, inside, with the front door locked, far earlier than we do at the moment. I'm sick of it. And why do we do it? I'll tell you why we do it. We do it because of a handful of Scottish farmers who are complaining that it would still be dark at 10 o'clock in the morning if we didn't change it.
Wow.
Well, why can't they have their own time? Why do we have to change our time? Sick of it.
Gosh. Suppose if people want, people can phone up and discuss this with you, or are you just going to do an hour-long rant?
I don't know.
Wow.
I'll see which way it goes, but I'm prepared to.
Gosh.
From 9 this morning, I'd quite like you to join in with this conversation. Is it time we stopped changing the clocks in this country? If we just left it now, how it is now, all year round,
I'm going to play a trailer.
Perfect.
Okay, I'm just going to...
You don't need to change it.
I'm going to play this now.
Ridiculous.
Every Saturday from 12.
Great songs you haven't heard for years.
Justin Dealey.
This still sounds incredible. Jay has texted me. This one's for you. Coming up today, we go back to the 70s for our golden oldie rundown. Let's get that jukebox open.
2 hours of great music and great memories.
She says, this reminds me of when I used to go to the Unicorn pub in Leighton Buzzard. We are playing the UK charts from this day back in 1970. Martin in Woburn Sands has texted me. It was first recorded by Richard Chamberlain in 63.
Justin Dealey.
Spread the word. 2 hours of great songs and great memories.
Every Saturday from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Christmas is not coming.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555. We'll take more calls in a little bit. That's a good clip, isn't it?
Christmas is not coming.
That's wonderful.
She's going to get kicked out of Sunday school, like Lisa in Bedford. We were talking about where you've been banned and kicked out.
By the way, sorry, can I just say, Jonathan obviously made a mistake during that thing. The clocks go forward this weekend, just to clarify that. I don't want any confusion.
Lisa in Bedford sent me a text. I got kicked out of Sunday school for using the hymn books as a spell book and pretending to make witch potions with them. I've also had carpet tack stuck in my foot. My father-in-law haircut is free as my mother-in-law does it for him. That's Lisa in Bedford covering all the bases.
I love it when we get someone who gets a home run. 08459 455 555. Just a reminder, we'll take some more calls after 12:30. Cheapest haircut, well, we won't beat free. When you've had bits of things stuck in your body, work you've been booted out of. Has anybody ever had anybody's eye out with anything ever? Mm-hmm. That'll probably do, wouldn't it?
I think so. Okay. Do you want another one? A quick one?
Give us one more. Go on.
This is a stuck in you.
Yep.
As a child, we used to make piles of leaves and dive headfirst into them. I did this, says Phil, and came up with the end of a branch stuck in my wrist. I also got a fishing hook caught in my lip at about the same age. Phil the fish.
I really didn't think that one would take off as well as it has done, but isn't it wonderful? Thank you. We'll have some more of your calls and texts on that in a bit. But on to slightly more serious issues. A Stevenage woman is talking about the importance of body confidence after her teenage daughter died trying to fit in. Kay Whiteman was born with a condition called pectus excavatum, which meant her chest curved inwards. Well, she died from complications during surgery to correct it. Kay's mum, Angela Whiteman, joins me now. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, Iain.
Thanks very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about Kay. What was she like?
She was very bubbly. She could brighten a room with her smile. She could also be quite shy and self-conscious. She didn't like to wear tight tops because of her chest.
So the chest is not a condition I'm aware of. The chest curved inwards at the breast, did it?
In between her breasts, she had it looked like a canyon. You could fit your whole fist in there. And her left breast was normal, but her right breast was just a little swelling, so she couldn't wear a bra. And if she wore tight tops, it looked like she'd only got one breast, so she was really conscious of it.
And how did that affect her?
She became very withdrawn. Although she had a boyfriend and she was very popular at school, she didn't like to wear, if we went swimming, she'd wear a proper swimming costume. Sometimes she wouldn't, she'd get straight in the water. She didn't like to be on show, she was very shy about it.
Well, most teenagers are very uncomfortable with their bodies. So to have something that is actually, physically different from other bodies, that must have been hard work for her.
It was, and it was very noticeable as well, because she was so thin.
So, how did she find out about this surgery? Did the doctor recommend it? Did she find it online?
No, she come home from school one day and said that some girls had commented on the way she looked when she was getting changed, and she was quite upset about it. So I made an appointment with our local doctor, and from there we were referred to our local hospital, and then from the local hospital we were sent to Great Ormond Street for more tests and to see if they could actually fix Kay's chest.
And they obviously they worked out that they probably could, that it was worth proceeding. How old was she when she went for this operation?
She was 16.
Oh. What went wrong?
The first surgery was supposed to take 2.5 hours, and it took 5 because they couldn't stabilise the bar. After the surgery, she spent a week in hospital. She came home, but when she came home, she was in so much pain. We did know that she would be in pain from the operation, but it was horrendous. We didn't realise how debilitating it would be, really.
So they were pushing her chest out?
Yes.
When did you realise that there was a problem?
The first episode of her coughing up blood was in March. She was staying at her dad's in Milton Keynes, and they rushed her to Milton Keynes A&E. She was taken to intensive care, and they diagnosed a pulmonary bleed, which is a bleed on the lung, and pneumonia, and they kept her there for a week. Great Ormond Street were informed, but they decided that treat her, get her better, send her home, and they hoped to see her when she was well, but they never asked to see her, and Kay seemed to pick up, seemed to do really well. And then in May she had another episode of coughing up blood. She was at home. I rushed her to Lister Hospital. They put her again in intensive care, and she went in on the Monday. On the Thursday, they decided that they were going to send her to transfer her to Great Ormond Street to have the bar removed.
Mm.
And during removal of the bar, which didn't happen until the Saturday, she bled out. Her heart stopped beating for 20 minutes, and the outcome was irreversible brain damage.
Oh, Angela, I'm so sorry.
I miss her every day.
Yeah, of course you do. There's nothing I can say, is there, really? I mean, I can't even begin to imagine how you must be feeling. This is it's so recent and so fresh.
It's 2 years on, and it does help to talk about her. I love to talk about her. She was so beautiful, and I just wish you could have seen how beautiful she was.
Well, I'm glad that it helps to talk about her.
Yeah.
And to remember. And I'm sure you think about her every day.
Oh, I do.
Yeah. Angela, listen, I don't want to ask you anymore because I don't want to upset you anymore.
Okay.
I think no, I don't want you to come on. I don't want to make you more upset and have you crying on the radio because that's not what it's about. But I really appreciate you sharing Kay's story with us this morning.
I just wanted to, it's more common in boys than girls, and I just wanted to say if there's anybody out there with this condition, it didn't affect Kay's breathing. It wasn't an illness as such. She had it done for cosmetic reasons. And if there's anybody out there thinking about having it done for cosmetic reasons, think about what you have. Be thankful for what you've got, really, and don't rush into anything.
It's a very strong message, Angela. Thank you for your time.
That's okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. Oh, what a sad story. 16-year-old girl, Kath. You can hear more from Angela. Angela will be telling more about Kay's story and probably going into a little bit more detail on Shrink Wrapped at 1pm this Sunday with Sophie Solaria.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's looking rather slow at the moment on the Great North Road, heading southbound at the Black Cat roundabout, where those major roadworks are continuing. There's a lane closed on the M1, so it's looking very slow, heading southbound at junction 11 for Dunstable Road. It's all due to an accident that's happened there. Take a look at the M25, heading anti-clockwise. That's queuing following an earlier vehicle fire between junction 16, the M40, and junction 15 for the M4. Heading clockwise on the M25 is looking rather slow on the sensors between junction 14 for Horton Road and junction 16 at the M40. And taking a look at the trains, so far there's no problems there, but there is disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport. It's all due to industrial action. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. 59-year-old David Clapson died in July from a lack of insulin after his job seeker's allowance was suspended. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail, and Britain has been ordered to pay an extra £1.7 billion towards the European Union budget because its economy has performed better than expected in recent years. Downing Street says the government will challenge the decision.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In last night's Europa League matches, Tottenham beat the Greek side Asteras Tripolis 5-1. Harry Kane scored a hat-trick but ended up in goal after Hugo Lloris was sent off. Everton drew 0-0 away to Lille. Tomorrow, second-place Watford go to third-place Middlesbrough in the Championship. Alman Abdi is ruled out, and there's also a doubt over on-loan Sebastian Bassong as Slavisa Jokanovic prepares for his third game in charge.
We are a one-week team all together, and we are trying to explain what we exactly want. We start one process, and soon I expect we will play better what we played last game.
In League One, Milton Keynes Dons go to Doncaster. They'll check on the fitness of Carl McFadzean and Dean Bowditch. League Two leaders Wickham are returned to Dagenham. Third place Luton, just a point behind the leaders, could welcome back Alex Lawless at home to Northampton, with John Still's side hoping to make it 7 wins in a row.
We're capable of those magic moments, and I think that, you know, we have to make those magic moments tell, and at the moment we are. And I think that, you know, season goes, I think the magic moments might last for longer spells, but sometimes they haven't got to last long. What was, I think, 2 goals in, was it 3 minutes the other night? And we do have that capability.
And Stevenage hosts second-place Burton, whose manager Gary Rowett looks set to leave for Birmingham. Here's the borough boss, Graham Wesley.
Yeah, whether he goes or whether he doesn't, they're at Burton, and their futures, their careers are going to be defined by what goes on at Burton. So I'm sure the players they're professional enough to be where they are in the league right now. I'm sure they'll be professional enough to keep their mind focused on the job, irrespective of what the manager does or doesn't do.
And in tennis, Andy Murray will play the South African Kevin Anderson today in the quarter-finals of the Valencia Open as he continues his bid to qualify for the season-ending World Tour finals in London. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
On FM, AM, online and digital radio.
This is Iain Lee.
Okay. On BBC Three Counties
really
Radio.
Is a busy show. What have you been chucked out of? Ever been in a lift with anyone? How much did your haircut cost? Ever had anything sharp stuck in you? Are kids allowed to take compasses to school anymore? And has anybody ever had an eye out with anything ever?
I mean, we were always warned about umbrellas.
Yeah. The PS to Scott's story.
Oh, no.
His friend of Chris's...
Who is Chris?
I've got no idea. I think it's his partner. Had a dartboard with the bullseye missing. He held it up to his eye and invited people to take a chunk. He had his eye out, and Scott has done a PS. That's a true story. He's now got a glass eye. Makes me laugh nearly every day. Well, we're not... Come on.
Although, if there was ever a definition of bringing it on yourself, that there is it, isn't it?
That is another phone-in. Where did you get your glass eye from, Grandad? 08459... 455 555.
Gosh, if my granddad had had a glass eye, he was bad enough with his false teeth. Those things got everywhere.
Where did you get your glass eye from, Grandad? Oh, I hope we get a call on that. I really do.
Karen says, my sister... Oh, we're talking about things you've had stuck in you.
Yeah. wish you were doing this radio show with these, because I would be at home listening to this right now.
Well, listen to this.
Go on.
My sister got a pen stuck in her cheek when she was little. Running towards the front door, carrying the pen, tripped. She has a scar as a reminder. P.S. Oh, it's that Karen that was messing about yesterday.
Oh.
I got ready for work quicker today. I'm off now. Bye.
Bye. Bye, Karen. Bye. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Anything else, or...?
Hang on. Yes. Can I do this one?
Wow, gosh, you're self-censoring, that's why.
OK, here we go. I went to a do. The music was rubbish.
OK.
I went and asked the bloke on the decks if he had any Preparation H or raving hemorrhoids. He said he'd have a look through the collection. That's from Reg in St Albans.
Yeah, OK.
And we've also got Phil chucked out of a gig at Hammersmith. Well, he was threatened with being thrown out because... jumping around too much at a Slayer gig.
Oh, you can't jump around too much at a Slayer gig. 08459 455 555. We did mention earlier on that Tinchy Strider, who he? Well, he's a young rap artist, has recorded a record with the Chuckle Brothers. Well, we have to have a listen, don't we?
Hello. Hello. Wait, I swear you're the Chuckle Brothers. You must be Barry. And his. Oh. Nah, something's weird. Where's your ladders?
In the van. Go get him, Barry. What now? Yes. Just a minute. It's Tinchy. It isn't. It is. It is. It is. Is it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's me. Look up there. There's a leak. You're exactly the pair I need. Now wait, in fact, let me ask one question.
One question?
Just one. I respect you both. So you're welcome here, but who or what really brought you here?
Dan. In his van. Silly question.
Yeah. What a silly question. Oh. Cheeky and rude, I know my role. You play yours too and put them ladders up. Yeah, before you trip over laces, tie up the shoes.
I wear slip-ons. Get the ladders, Barry.
Mate, over here, quick word. Barry's got shoes and they come with laces. You must have both.
Over here, quick word. Barry's got shoes and they come with laces. You taking the mick?
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Yeah, safe innit?
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear.
There's another who's taking it.
To me. To you. To me. To you then.
This is awful.
To me. To you. To me. To you then.
Make it stop. That makes me want to stick something sharp in my ears. I won't. That would be stupid, but it makes me want to.
Flippin' heck. What is that all about? Connor, can you believe that?
No.
That's incredible. Is that a real record, Kelly?
Apparently.
Flippin' heck. If they sent that into BBC Unsigned, what's it called? Introducing?
Yeah.
You wouldn't play that, would you?
No.
No, OK. Why are you walking like that?
What?
You're walking with a stoop.
Was I?
Yeah. OK. Anyway, Connor, what you got for us?
OK, well, basically, I had something sharp shoved into my spine.
Oi!
Yeah.
Go on.
I was in hospital and I had to have a lumbar puncture.
I have had a lumbar puncture, as they call it in America, the spinal tap.
Oh.
Do you know what? How did you find it?
I found it the most painful experience I've ever had, but they missed it. They got the wrong bit.
And what they're doing is they are sucking out your spinal juice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which is insane. And you see it, and it's like it's like a weird glistening juice. That's your spine juice.
Yeah, and there's hardly any that comes out from the amount of time they have the needle in.
I was thinking there's going to be loads of... Because you've got to stay like that. It's about 45 minutes, isn't it, I think?
Yeah.
The thing, because I had it done, and I was terrified about it, absolutely terrified. And do you know what? It was all right. It was uncomfortable, but it was all right. But boy, oh boy, I was not prepared for the next week of feeling like... it was shocking.
Yeah.
The next week, I got out and I thought, that was all right. I survived. A bit sore. I survived it. A little bit of a headache when I went to bed. In the morning, I woke up and I was fine. I got up, standing upright for 10 minutes. I felt I couldn't. I was dizzy. I was swaying over the place. I had a terrible headache. I was like that for a week. You have to lie flat for a week.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I was in hospital anyway, so I was already doing that. But
man alive, yeah, Connor, excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed. Of course, the lumbar puncture.
I've had one of those.
Hey.
I felt it squeak.
Yeah, it squeaks. It's like eating a McDonald's. It's squeaky meat. And I had it, and I felt all right. But then that week after, I was awful. I couldn't. I lay down. I feel all right laying down, and then as soon as I moved, I got up.
Long term, it doesn't do it so much now, but for about a couple of years after that, my tail would ache. You know where your tail should be?
Yeah,
your coccyx. That would sometimes really ache.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I'm glad I survived a lumbar puncture, because I was worried about... I know what to do now. Just book a week off work, lie down and load a load of films onto your computer. That's what you need to do to survive. The injection itself was all right. She was good, my nurse. It was all right.
The best thing to do is
I wouldn't want to do that again.
I wouldn't want to do it again.
But then who wants to do it in the first place?
But then I've seen Spinal Juice. Who else has ever seen Spinal Juice? Oh, I was so tempted to put my finger in and have a little taste.
Oh.
No! Why? It's clear. If you've...
It's natural, I suppose.
I'm going to ask this question, but I really want you to deal with it in a sensitive, mature way, dear listener, OK? It's only 20 minutes.
Oh, no.
Can I ask this? Well, I want to phrase this question. I don't want it to...
I don't think you can.
I don't want a mucky answer. What bottle... No. Can't? No. OK, thank you very much. Justin!
Hey, good morning, boss.
Good morning, Justin.
Great show.
It's been quite good today, hasn't it?
It's been all right.
Great Vox on Fanny.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Loved it. What you got for us now?
Well, you've been talking about nut cuts this morning.
I've got to say, my boys came in... It was quite a while ago now. The boys came in over summer to see, what Daddy does in the morning. And they met you. And you were very kind. You had a chat with them. I get the impression you're slightly awkward around kids.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. I just like to talk to them like a normal human being. I don't like to patronise children. When people talk down to children, it annoys me. Right, so I just don't do that.
So good for you. So Justin met my kids. And then a few months later, I was talking about work. And I said, my friend Justin. And my eldest said, do I know Justin? I said, yeah, you met Justin. No, I don't think I have. I said, no, you've met... When you came in, you met Justin. And he thought, and he went... nutcut.
AKA haircut, by the way.
That's it, yes. We're talking about nut cuts.
You paid £29 for your haircut, which I thought was pretty normal.
Yeah.
I've taken this one to the streets. You've had some calls already. Sometimes when you think, do you know what? You lead a very normal life and you do things very normally, and then you go to the streets and you realise, no, you're not normal at all. I've been asking men how much they pay for their haircut. I was really shocked by this. Here's what people had to say.
Taking it to the streets with J-Dog.
Here we are in Barston, sir. What's your name?
Rodney.
Rodney? Yeah. Rodney, how much do you pay for a nut cut?
I don't buy them, I think.
No, haircut.
Haircuts? Oh, £13. £13, yeah.
Where's that?
That's Men at Work in Hitchin.
Right, OK. What do you think about men like Iain Lee who pay £29 for a haircut?
That's a little bit exorbitant, I'd say.
OK. What about Mario Balotelli who spends £500 a week on a haircut?
That's just plain insane. Absolutely insane. That's just nuts. Absolutely nuts.
He's nuts about his nut cut?
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Take care, mate.
From the BBC, from Iain Lee Show, how much are you paying for your haircut?
It's £5.
Do you feel like you get good value for money?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you look fresh on the streets?
Yeah.
Sir, in your leather jacket this morning, looking cool with the hair, kind of a fresh look. How much do you pay for your haircut?
20 quid.
Ah, right. Now we're getting somewhere. This morning, everyone I've spoken to says they're paying £9, £10. It's not enough, is it?
I can pay 4 quid, 3 quid, right? But because I go to this one place that's just very convenient and they just do it regularly as 5-week intervals, I'm happy.
If you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
66.
See, this haircut makes you look young. It makes you look fresh, doesn't it? So you're getting good value for money, aren't you?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I could get 6 haircuts for the same amount of money.
But you'd look a mess probably for 4 quid a go.
Yeah, but I usually do look a mess, so...
Aaron, congratulations. This is the best haircut I've seen all morning. How much are you paying for that haircut?
£9.
I don't believe you.
I do.
9 quid?
Yeah, £9.
Describe it to our listeners.
Just very current.
Simple as that. There you go. He's out there. Very current. Yeah.
Oh, I'm really laughing too much today. I think it might be through a lack of food. I don't think it's because the content is particularly amusing. Hey, Dealey, stay on the line because you're going to want to listen to this next call, I think.
Okay.
Mick's in Watford. Morning, Mick.
Hello, mate.
Go on, tell us your story because this is incredible. I can see on my screen. This is incredible.
Well, quite a few people have it done. About 15 years ago, I had to have the top of my head cut off.
Flippin' heck! I didn't know that bit! Ooh. When you say the top cut off...
Well, if you can imagine the top of the head is like an egg.
Yeah.
They removed a quarter of the egg above the eye to go into the brain to fix an aneurysm.
Right, hang on a second, there's so much in this. When you say they did it like an egg, they didn't bash the top bit, did they, and then cut it off with a knife?
They do actually have to bash it about to get it on, apparently.
And how high... enjoy your breakfast, guys. How high above the eye... I mean, is it just above the eyebrow they cut?
Well, if you can imagine a large piece from the front, it was the left-hand side on my head.
Yeah.
They have to take that out. Now, once they fixed it, they fit it back on. But the problem I had was with the pressure that goes in the spinal cord and the head, is my brain started leaking through my nose.
Hang on a minute, what was leaking through your nose?
Brain fluid.
Oh, my...
Can I ask the obvious question?
Go on.
Why? Why was this happening in the first place? What happened?
Well, I had a brain hemorrhage to start with. That's what the start of it was. And I went to the Royal Pool. They obviously fixed it. But when they put the piece of skull back on, it's not a perfect fit.
No, they lost a bit. And Mick, what does brain juice taste like?
It's just very watery, and I've tasted loads of it because it was literally, I had to lay down there. As soon as I lifted my head, the brain juice would flow out of my nose.
Is everything... Are you well and good now, Mick? Is everything all right?
Yeah, it's okay. And I tell you now, you're talking about number punches. When I was up there, I lost count of the amount of those I had. But the way they fixed it, and I didn't want them to do it, but they came in a little bit like the Secret Service at night, and come up to the bed and said, "You've got to have this procedure." And I went, "Have I got any choice?" He went, "No." And they just done it like bang. But what they do is they then set a great big drain in your back, and they relieve the pressure in the back, like to drain the fluid all out. But I can tell you another quick one. I had to have another operation after that.
We've got 20 seconds. Go on.
A guy was pushing me in the bed to the operating theatre, and he had his headphones on and everything. He weren't really interested in me. He crashed the bed, and the brain fluid bag burst open.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Getting reports in of one lane being closed on the M1 heading southbound between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 11 Dunstable Road. It's due to a broken down lorry there. So far, taking a look at the M25 heading anti-clockwise, it's queuing between junction 19 at Watford and junction 16 for the M40. Also in Watford, looking very heavy at the moment on the A41 North Western Avenue, just at the Dome roundabout. And also in Boreham Wood, it's queuing on the Barnet bypass between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. There's no problems on the trains, but disruption to flights to and from Italy at Luton Airport due to some industrial action taking place. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
His brain juice bag split open, Nicola. His brain juice bag split open. Yeah, I know. His brain juice bag split open. That's the quote of the week. Gosh. Hope you're enjoying your breakfast, guys, of brain juice. 8:47. Someone will complain. 8:47. It's Friday, the 24th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. The family of a former soldier from Stevenage who died after his benefits were cut have welcomed a decision by MPs to review welfare sanctions. A 25-year-old woman who was arrested in Bedfordshire on Wednesday morning on suspicion of terror offences linked to Syria has been released on bail. And Britain has been ordered to pay an extra £1.7 billion towards the European Union budget because its economy has performed better than expected in recent years. More of your horrible, horrible calls after we get the weather from Georgina.
Beds, Hearts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's a fairly mild day, but quite wet and cloudy. We've got mainly light rain and drizzle, but probably some heavier bursts this afternoon, perhaps even some thunder and light southwesterly winds. Temperatures reaching 16 degrees Celsius. We do see the back of that rain tonight, though, and then we've got some clear intervals. Quite a lot of the night actually is going to be fairly clear, so quite chilly too, with some mist and fog developing in certain places with lows of 7 degrees. So a cool start to tomorrow. We may see that mist for a while, but once it does clear, we've got a largely dry day with plenty of sunny spells, feeling altogether more pleasant with lighter winds and highs of 14 degrees. Now, Sunday's looking fairly bright, quite breezy in some spots, but looking mostly dry. Monday, patchy drizzle should be with us, but we've got high pressure building next week. So although we'll have some chilly nights, we've got some fairly mild days with some warm, wet air coming up from the Atlantic. That's your latest forecast.
Every weekday morning, local opinions.
Well, I think it's a very difficult proposition.
You really cannot allow your heart to rule your head.
Local stories.
I wanted to call my house Hardcore Mansions. They refused that on 2 separate occasions.
I wasn't leaving the house through the fear as to what I would find when I came back.
Local life.
I bought a car within 3 months. It's rusty.
They said that the deposit would be forthcoming. It wasn't.
The JVS Show. Weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
I think this is the most remarkable phone-in show we've ever had, Catherine. We're getting some incredible stories from stuff that I thought was just a punt and we would get nothing about. We've had some amazing stories.
I think they're finally getting you.
Yes, I think they're finally getting you. A lot of this nonsense comes from you, my dear. What have you got on the texts?
Suzanne tells us a lovely story. When I was at senior school in the 60s, a friend, Dennis Ogden, I'm going to give his full name.
Oggy!
Was playing knights with his mate. He had a metal dustbin lid as a shield, and his mate had a witch's broom as a lance. Of course he did.
A witch's broom? Well,
yeah, like an old-fashioned broom.
Oh, okay.
Just call it a broom.
All right, yeah, because that's even more fantastical.
The broom went sliding up the slidey lid into his face and took his eye out. He had a glass eye after that, and he looked great.
Speaking of eyes, Ben's in Wickham. Morning, Ben.
Good morning, sir.
What you got for us?
My father had a glass eye.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Who's next? No, how did he get his glass eye?
He lost his right eye and hearing in his left ear at an accident in engineering when he was 18 years of age.
Blimey. And is there fun? And I don't no disrespect to your father. Is there fun to be had with a glass eye in a family?
Well, you know, he used to say to people when he went to work on the bus, if the conductor said there's no room on top, he'd chuck it up and have a look to make certain.
Hey!
But on the other hand, he had them. He had them matched right up to the 50th wedding anniversary. For the photographs, he had a new glass eye made to match his other eye.
Oh, if I had a glass eye, I would be popping it out every 5 minutes and scaring children. Did he do that with you?
Oh, yeah. Trevor, he used to leave them on the dressing table.
Oh.
Did you ever hide it?
No, more than I dared to.
Thank you.
There was a big strap on the bottom of the bed.
What was Dad's name?
Bill.
Bill, well done, Bill. Well done, Ben. Bill and Ben, hang on a second.
Someone wasn't thinking, or maybe they were.
That's fantastic. There's honestly, if I had a glass... Brian Wilson's dad, the Beach Boys' dad, partly why he's so messed up, would if the boys had been naughty, he would take the eye out, open the socket and get them to stare into the pit, the black pit. What's behind the eye? Do you see the brain?
No.
What? Why?
There's a sort of pink cushion, isn't there? There is.
How do you know?
Because I've seen biology books. I don't think it's called the pink cushion. I think it's called something more technical.
We're now removing the pink cushion, and behind that, it's the jelly brain. Ken's in Sandy. Morning, Ken.
Good morning to you.
What have you got for us, boss?
Well, now, I am absolutely desperate for a driver to take me to March in Cambridgeshire on Sunday.
Why? What's that
to do my skydive, because the person that was going to do it phoned me late yesterday to say he couldn't do it because he wasn't well. So the thing is that what I'm prepared to do, I'm looking for a driver, obviously, who would live in this area where I live.
You're in Sandy.
And I will pay their petrol, and when we get there at 8 o'clock, you have to be there at 8, so you're not hanging around, and I will even treat them to breakfast, because you have breakfast before you do your skydive.
Hang on a minute, why would you have breakfast before a skydive? That sounds a ridiculous idea.
Well,
that'll be coming back up again.
Well, put it like this, there's breakfast available.
I'd hang on, Ken. I would hang on.
And the thing is that I will pay the petrol. All they've got to do is ring me on my landline, and I will ring them back any time today. But it really is desperate.
Okay, so you're in Sandy. Where are you going to?
I'm going to a place called March in Cambridgeshire.
Right,
it's the North London Skydiving Centre.
And it's Sunday morning?
Sunday morning.
What are you doing the skydive for, Ken? Just for giggles?
I'm doing it for the Cabell Nurses Trust and SAFA.
Okay.
And they're both connected with the First World War.
Okay, Catherine, you're whispering something in my ear.
Sam's on fader 3.
Hello, Sam, you're right.
Hi, Ken, I'll take you.
Hello, Sam, have you fallen down a tiny hole? What's going on?
Hello?
No. Hello, Ken, I'll take you.
Sam's going to take Ken.
Right, okay.
You could say thanks, Ken.
All the best to you.
No, sorry, no, hang on, no, we're just starting it.
All right.
Sam,
All right, sorry.
No, stay there, Ken. Sam, Sam, first of all, a few questions. How old are you?
I am 77.
No, I'm asking Sam now.
I'm not 77 and I'm not skydiving.
Okay, and Sam, can you drive?
Yes.
And have you at any point murdered any old men, cut any old men's parachute cords, or ever done anything bad to old men?
No, JBS knows me.
Oh, God, that's not necessarily a good voucher. Listen, stay on the line. I'm going to put you both through to Catherine or Kelly, and we'll sort that. Sam, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. Sam's going to drive Ken to go and do a skydive. Oh, well, listen, we have to make sure we speak to them both on Monday morning, please, Catherine. Let's I'm sure we'll definitely speak to Sam. Fingers crossed, we'll speak to Ken as well. Hey, that was good, wasn't it? Glenn's in Leighton Buzzard. Morning, Glenn.
Morning, Ian.
What have you got for us, boss?
Two things. I know what's behind the eye socket.
Apparently it's a pink cushion.
Well, in this day and age, it could be a USB socket, couldn't it, really?
Hey,
for like a...
downloading all the information, yeah.
Yeah. Right, I got to tell you about a painful thing. It's not me, it's my mate from years ago. Mm. I asked him why he was walking like John Wayne.
Yeah.
He said, I was walking up a steep bank, with my hands in my pockets.
Yeah, as you do.
And I slipped forward.
Oh, yeah.
And as I slipped down the bank, I caught on a spike.
Is what? Is Winkle or his plums?
His plums.
Hey, on a spike?
On a spike that was hidden in the grass. A metal spike.
Booby trap. So it wasn't boobies, it was a ball trap. Gosh, blimey. And bearing in mind we have young ears listening, although they're probably at school now, what damage was done?
Well, he just severed them.
Oh, he severed his plums.
I'm not sure whether he lost any.
Oh, Glenn, thank you so much.
You know who that was, don't you?
That was Glenn in Leighton Buzzard. His mate severed his plums.
Sam. Oh gosh.
He severed.
That's gonna smart, isn't it?
I have said some horrific things today. The brain juice bag split open, and Glenn's mate severed his plums. Great names for albums, by the way, guys. Or films on Netflix.
Who are you saying that to?
Sorry?
Who are you saying that to?
Anyone in a band as yet unnamed.
So Ken and Sandy, and we put him through some...
Sam, you know who Sam was?
No, I don't know who Sam was.
Traffic cops. Sam Sparks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So she's a cop?
So she can drive a bit, yeah.
Well, that's nice, isn't it?
And she hasn't murdered anyone.
Listen, it was my responsibility as a public broadcaster to ask those questions. That's kind of my equivalent of doing one of those CRB checks.
We know those two things are good. We don't know anything really about her scissors and parachute activities.
And we don't know if you know what Ken has been up to in the past. You know, he may have... Anyway, let's speak to them on Monday and find out...
how they got on.
Let's definitely speak to Sam, and hopefully we'll speak to Ken as well.
And find out whether they had the breakfast before or after.
Yeah, and who knows? This could be the start of a wonderful romance. A fine romance. Starring Judi Dench and not starring the old fella, because he was in the other one that happened. Oh, gosh, what was the name of that
Palmer.
programme? Jeffrey Palmer. He's feeling unwell. Till Death Us Do Part. No.
Wait to December.
No, that was Rogers.
French Fields.
No, that was Rogers. We know that.
Time goes by.
Boom shakalaka. Listen, we've got 40 seconds. Have we got any texts or anything we need to
yeah, let's have a look.
Up?
Let's see if there's any we can actually
By the way,
read.
thank you so much for your input today, dear listener. A wonderful show. I've done nothing this week. You've just made me laugh.
Angela in Houghton Regis. When I was younger, I'd sit down by kneeling on my left knee and sitting with a leg curled under me.
Yeah,
I've been there.
I can do that.
Did it in class once when I was about 6, straight on a drawing pin that went right in my knee. The teacher calmly got a pair of scissors and levered it out. Levered it out. I sat down in the same way at a later stage in someone's car, straight on their darts. Again, the knee.
Straight on their tranquiliser darts. Are you feeling woozy? Listen, that's probably all we've got time for. Kelly, excellent stuff.
Thanks.
Catherine, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Justin, brilliant stuff wherever you are, buddy. There'll be a new podcast up today. I guarantee you it's one of the best ones we've ever done, I think. There is some cracking stuff in it, so if you're unsure, definitely get this one. Let's get the travel.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound, reports of one lane being closed. There's a broken down lorry between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 11 for Dunstall Road. The M25 heading anti-clockwise is queuing at the moment between junction 19 at Watford and junction 16 for the M40. The A41 in Watford's looking very heavy on the sensors, heading southbound just at the Dome roundabout, and it is queuing on the Barnet bypass between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. At Luton Airport, disruption to flights to and from Italy due to industrial action. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. Hope you don't struggle with the hours less sleep you're going to get this weekend. Don't forget, Saturday night, put your clocks forward. Podcast will be up, well, probably lunchtime today, hopefully. We'll be back on Monday. Until then, from us, 6 o'clock, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Are we and you? Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. Friday, 9 o'clock. And on today's big phone-in, is it time we stop changing the clocks in this country? It's the Times front page.